What's going on? It's your boy Artman Boxing. We're back with another boxing conversation. Um, Saturday morning, we had a good fight Friday, but we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. So we gotta we gotta smoke one for the Marcus Browne. Marcus Browne pack this morning. Uh, that man took a knee like Colin Kaepernick. you know, and I can't blame him because that punch to the body, it looked mighty, mighty vicious, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, I just feel like he abandoned the game plan. He most definitely did. And that happens when you're fighting a puncher and that puncher lays it on you and your body just not feeling that. So it is what it is. Marcus Browne, he did start off great, did well, but he fucked up when he decided to lean on the ropes and let Beterbiev have him. I said, oh, Lord, it's over. I ain't gonna lie. Even though we was watching Fight Party, man, I had to get up and go smoke a joint in the other room real quick. Because I was like, dude, I just know it's over. There's only a couple fights that I've watched where it will be the middle of the fight, and I'd just be like, yo, this shit is done. And that was one of them. Another fight like that was Josh Taylor versus Ramirez, where you're watching it and it's like, okay, it's competitive at first, and then it just starts leaning, and it's just like, damn, what is this guy gonna do to even get him out of this sticky situations? But shout out to everybody in the chat. Say, hey, Art Man, what's going on? What's up, Art Man? Salute to Art Man Boxing. Yeah, he got tired, I'm guessing, because yeah, he would not get off them damn ropes. Yeah, he got tired. He started leaning on them ropes. It wasn't even just tired. I don't even feel like it was just tired. I feel like the power really took a toll out of him. Them punches look like it hurt. Like, them slow thudding punches. Only a couple fight punchers are like that. I consider a guy like Joe Joyce's a puncher that's kind of slow, but when them shits hit, it's real slow and thudding, man, and it takes a toll out of a fighter. Um, Said Beterbiev versus Beevil, who wins. I got Beterbiev on that one. I ain't gonna lie. He proved that he can take it there, and he proved that he got the type of power that'll make a motherfucker reconsider life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could have heard Derek James in the corner because you could just hear him shouting something, but I just wanted to know what he was saying because it seems like Marcus Browne stepped away from the game plan after he started getting hit. He didn't adjust. There was no adjusting. So we got to smoke that Marcus Browne pack this morning. Very unfortunate. And still, man, I thought we was gonna have a new unified champion. Look, I even got my American flag mask. You know what I'm saying? I was ready. I was ready to roll out. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Says salute. Yeah, shout out to Drew Titan. Yeah, shout out to you, man. We just cooking, man. It's just very unfortunate that the brother Marcus Browne had to go out that way. I honestly believe that it's easy for us to say, "Oh, he should have did this, stick to the jab, and da 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 da." That's true. That is very true. But when you get hit with a certain type of power like that, it just makes you, you know, what I'm saying, think about life. Think about the position that you're in right now. It went from a fight that he could win to a fight that he's just trying to survive. And that is one of the gruesome, ugliest fights, man. It's just but it is what it is. Moving forward, I would like to see Better V right back into action against Beevil unification because everybody's unifying. So I want to see this guy unify. If Charlo and Andre got to unify right away, right now, unify like yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I want these guys to unify as soon as possible. Straight up. Multiple fighters are unifying, so Beevil and Better Beef, I want to see it. And I don't have no horse in that race. I just believe that Beterbiev might edge it because I've seen the power and I noticed that the power is fucking real. But my dude said, "What's good?" Yeah, what's good, man? We just chilling, man. The race fans, they're celebrating last night. They came to my show. It did numbers because they came in. They wanted to see what I was talking about. They always do that. They want to see if I'm gonna react and be all sad and shit like that. Nah, this is boxing, man. You go in there, use your fist, you prove me wrong. Shit, I support it. Go ahead. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's how it goes. Some people don't like that. They don't like putting their credibility on the line. They don't like, basically share their thoughts on who they're going for. They like going for the popular opinion. But me, nah, I keep it 100. If I think my guy's gonna win, I'm gonna root for him, and I'm not gonna go in there blind. Yes, if you guys heard my fight predictions, I said, yeah, man, if Marcus Browne does this, if Marcus Browne sticks to the plan, he can do this. If he does this, he can do that. Better beef power is real. And we seen that. But a lot of people saying he quit. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. It looks like he quit, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Because it's like, dude, like, it's either get back up and try to fight and win this fight, or survive this fight I'm in, or go out there and try to fight and get your ass knocked the fuck out. Man, that was tough. He didn't want to get slept, but where does he go from here, though, man? Where does Marcus Browne go from here? Cause I don't know. I don't know, man. Where does he go from here? I don't know where he goes from here, dude. I really don't. Maybe he should try to get a fight with one of the shit. Maybe Beaver will fuck around and fight Marcus Browne if he don't fight Beterbiev. Saw a lot of people bring up Brown's domestic violence cases last night when they had nothing to do with the fight without knowing the whole story. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even care to know the story because I want to focus on what's going on inside of the ring. You know, it's not like he has a pending case. This is something that was already settled. To my knowledge, it's something that's already settled, right? So what are we even doing? But like I said, race fans was going nuts, dude. Look, they're sending me all. I'm still getting messages right now. I'm going to my comments on my YouTube analytics or whatever. One of the comments says, "Look. Let me show you guys. This should show you how these motherfuckers get down. Look, it says Beterbiev owns black fighter. The guest says put Charlo in there. Ha ha, Charlo, dude. Eva Brown is gonna put out Charlo. But he says, Beterbiev owns black fighters. It goes to show you what type of energy that these people have. Look, look. I was posting that shit all on my YouTube yesterday. I was just saving it. I was really saving all these screenshots. I just look. PBC dudes again crying. And like I said, man, PBC is code for black. Code for fucking black. And then look, here's people saying, man, the racism flowing after the fight, shit's a shame. Boxing, historically a black sport, still to this day respected. Yeah, it is what it is. You know how to get down. Look, Black Lives Matter, Maine. It's not fair, Maine. Bias, black supremacists. Okay, got it. And then look, white fighters are just better than black fighters. Nothing Brown can do. Shit, you see how that shit goes. Y'all see how that shit goes. Yeah, Mighty Max, you can hop up on here. Let me drop the link in the chat. Let me drop the link in the chat. Nah, but y'all guys see that. Y'all see that type of stuff, right? And then when I'm just talking my shit, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm rooting for the brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for my people. Black American Foundation. You know, I'm rocking with them. All that. Why are you talking about race? Boxing isn't about race. Every time you blacks talk about race, and I'm like, dude, you can't tell me that boxing not about race. With me, myself, I can look at my own analytics, and I can look at the comment section, and I can see that these people are bringing up race. But you know, they look at it as a team sport, and I ain't mad at that. Y'all want to look at it as a team sport? Don't be surprised when I'm rolling with my team. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be mad at me when I'm rolling with my team. Straight up. That's how they want to play it. And when has it been motherfucking considered racist to support your own? I don't understand it.
Yo, what's up, Art, man?
Oh, yo, what's going on, man?
Yo, just excited for the fights tonight, and great night of boxing we had last night, bro.
Yeah, that was a good fight last night, but I was just kind of pissed off that I didn't get the outcome that I wanted. Um, but it is what it is. I honestly believe that, yeah, man. He had a good game plan until he started getting touched up by Beterbiev. I don't know what he was thinking he can just lean on the ropes and take a couple Beterbiev shots just to throw his own. It wasn't going to work that way. And I understood that Beterbiev's power is real. No doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel Marcus Browne, he didn't show the capability of being able to fight on the back foot consistently for 12 rounds. He looked sharp in the first 2 rounds like I thought he would, but in round 3 and on, you could just see he was struggling to stay away from Beterbiev, and he didn't have the power to keep his respect.
Yeah, you know, but he did do his thing. He hit Beterbiev with a crazy right hook that had Beterbiev's face swollen, and he didn't even capitalize on it.
Yeah, he lacked the killer instinct last night, Marcus Browne. And I think right after that big massive cut went on Beterbiev's forehead, it really pushed Beterbiev to have some urgency in this bout and really go for a finish.
Yeah, man. I just wish that Marcus Browne wouldn't just landing on the ropes. That shit's just weird. Like, why would you do that, man? Why would you allow him to have you on the ropes like that?
For sure, for sure. And I think that's a big reason why someone like Canelo would not fight Beterbiev, because he knows that if he tries fighting him off the ropes like he did against Triple G, he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What do you think about Triple G? Not Triple G, Canelo versus Beterbiev.
If we get the Beterbiev that we got last night, I would definitely favor Beterbiev. The question is, which Beterbiev will we get? Will we get the Beterbiev we see in every fight, or will he turn into Sergey Kovalev and start jabbing on the back foot, aiming for Canelo's gloves?
Yeah, you know, you notice that. Am I the only one noticed that when Canelo fights opponents, usually they look a certain way before they fight him, but then they get in the ring and they start looking a little bit different?
People like to say that the reason that is because they're scared of Canelo's counterpunching, but they're scared of his punching before they even get hit by him. I mean, you can see these guys are nervous to get hit by him before they even get touched. Canelo's 5'8", it's half their height, and they're nervous of his power. Stop it, you know.
Yeah, that's what they're telling me. I'm like, dude, why wasn't Billy Joe and them willing to try to exchange with him? They said, oh, because Canelo was just, you know, they're just scared of him, man. And I'm like, okay, man, he's not the boogeyman, dude. Come on, these
Exactly.
guys have fought punchers before too, man.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, Billy Joe Saunders is a guy that stands in the middle of the ring instead of a mover. Out of nowhere, he's trying to fight in the pocket of Canelo. Billy Joe, feather fisted Billy.
But you know, it is what it is. My dude said, "What's up, Art Man? Rob in the UK repping that merch today. Shout out to you, Rob. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the UK that shop and support me. Man, they're changing the rates for the fucking UK shipping, so that shit's gonna go. The price might have to go up, guys. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Dang. Yeah, sure. I mean, everything's going up right now.
Hell yeah, this COVID shit is really fucking us up, man. Um, but shout out to my brother Checkmate Boxing. Oh man, I forgot you guys have history, but let's
No,
keep
I'm
it
all right.
PG on the
I'm all right.
show.
I'm all
You know,
right. I want to keep it
this is
cordial,
for the sport
atmosphere.
of boxing. For the
Yeah, I'm gonna
good
keep
of
it fine.
boxing. What's up, brother? Checkmate boxing. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, man? Hey, you know what? I want to give a shout out to the referee. There
Yeah,
were several moments in that fight I thought the ref was going to pull it. If it was a Canelo fight, it would have been stopped. If it was an AJ fight, it would have been stopped. You know what I mean? Just with a 5 punch combination. So so off that, I commend that ref. I would like to see that ref in more big fights because he let champions do what champions do. The only difference is Marcus Browne let us down because he quit. Like we were saying, he had an incredible game plan. The first couple rounds, he outboxed him. He was clearly the better boxer. He showed some skill. Um, Beterbiev was slow, but again, why did he lay on the ropes? We don't know. I'm still waiting to hear from Derek James. I don't know if have you guys found any clips of him yet, of Derek James giving any type of comment.
nah, I haven't heard Derek James say anything, and I was kind of pissed off that I didn't hear Derek James speak on the in the corner. I wanted to hear what he was saying.
You bring up the refs. I actually agree that
Yeah.
the refs in Canada are very good and much better than the ones in America.
He said this is us all night. Brown, stay off the fucking ropes, man.
Bro, I'm
Nah,
telling you,
real shit. This was me all night last night, man. Stay off the fucking ropes, man. Shit. God.
I'm telling you, Beterbiev would hurt
Yeah.
Dimitri Bivol. He would hurt Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's no doubt about that. That's kind of... You think that's why he wanted to stay away from him or what?
I'm not honestly sure why the fight didn't happen. I wish we got a more conclusive answer, but I know that's why Joe Smith wanted to stay away from him.
Yeah. Well,
Chet Light Boxing, he said, that gave Brown first 4 rounds. That power is real. Canelo is too skilled. He stops him late. Nigga, shut up, dude. Canelo ain't stopping shit late. Nigga,
listen,
Beterbiev
the truth.
is a different person compared to fucking Caleb Plant and them. He's gonna try to knock you out,
Absolutely.
and he has the power
But
to do so.
What
Shout
would
out to the brother Beehive.
what would
the
Beterbiev
difference
have done with Caleb
is.
Plant? Go ahead.
Wait, I was going to say the difference is Beterbiev showed us who he was. He did nothing different. He did what we knew that he would do. The problem is you got to stay away from that. I would never in a million years think that Marcus Browne would try to lay on the ropes, you know what I mean, and just let him get a lot of free punches. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. Like you got this guy and you're taking free punches. And it was the body shots that got him the same way that Canelo got off free body shots on Caleb Plant. So, I don't understand that. Listen, I doubt if we ever hear from Marcus Browne. I doubt if we're going to get a comment from this dude. But Derek James, they owe us something, brother. So go ahead. That's my step. So hey, Max, what's going on, little buddy?
Come on, checkmate. Let's keep this mature. Let's not start anything. I'm not in the mood for
That's
this
what I
right
was
now.
saying, checkmate.
I just want to talk
I,
boxing.
yo, I,
I'm just here to talk
I,
boxing.
bro, I didn't. What I do? Did I say anything
Nothing.
wrong?
Nothing. It's not what you did. It's not what you did, brother. We just don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? We just talking about.
Well, come on, brother.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know. You know what I'm saying? You always gotta have a little disclaimer out there. But anyways,
yeah. Calm down,
tonight,
Max. Ain't no beef, little buddy. Come
yeah,
on,
it's
calm
all
down.
good. Tonight though, Morrell versus Fox. I'm going out there. I gotta see that shit firsthand. Who do y'all got on that?
Morrell's a
Might
great
be
prospect, man.
one-sided.
He's gonna stop Fox 5th round. It's not the same Fox that got robbed. It's
No, it's
Alantes.
the big bro.
Yeah, it's the one that got stopped by Liam Williams.
Yeah, that's true.
I've never
But
seen
I've never
Morrell
seen
fight. I
I've
told you
never
guys
seen
before, I've
Fox ever.
never seen Morrell fight. So this will be my first time seeing him. I have no comment on the guy until I see him in person.
But okay, checkmate. Even though you never seen the guy, they saying that the guy is a guy that could possibly beat Canelo in the near future.
Yeah, I hear them. I hear people talk about him. They always say, "Oh, he's the best 168. He's this, he's that." Me personally, I haven't even watched any highlights of him. You know what I mean? So when I see this has been my first time seeing him in a fight live, and I'll judge him on that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I could just easily just on YouTube and see what he's about, but I'd rather this be my first impression of him.
Yeah, and
The
that's what
fight
I'm saying.
today.
I'm about to go see him face to face.
Oh, you're going live? Okay,
Yeah, I got some Spanish
that's right.
partners.
It's in
They hit
Minnesota.
me
It's
in
at
the
the
DM.
Armory.
They was like, "Yo, my Spanish partner, he hit me up. He's like, yo, you go to the fight on Saturday?" He's like, my homeboy fighting. I'm like, who your homeboy? He's like, I don't know if you heard of him, but his name is Morrell. And I was like, yeah, nigga, I heard of that nigga, dude. He was like, yeah,
David Morrell.
he said he don't speak no English and all, but he good. I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. He cold. So we all about to go, Minnesota about to go turn up because check this out. We lost I ain't say we lost our guy, but Jamal James, he took an L. So it's like we kind of need, some more action in our city, you know what I'm saying? So Morrell's picking it up, you know what I'm saying? So this guy might be the next thing. If he gets another knockout, dude, he might own the Armory.
David Morrell's
No,
very
real
good.
shit.
He's 5-0. He's already fighting 12-round fights. He's only like 25, 26 years old, and he has a very good amateur pedigree. So David
He's
Morrell
5-0. Did you say 5-0? Did you say
Yes.
5-0?
5 or 6.
No wonder I haven't heard of him.
But he's already fighting 12-round fights, so he's being moved pretty quickly.
Yeah, he already has a Reggie. He already has a WBA Reggie belt. I mean, they'll face
5-0. Oh, he's doing a Loma. He's doing a Loma.
Yeah.
Who's he signed to? Top Rank?
PBC.
No, this PBC because it's PBC card. How did a PBC get a guy with that many shots, even a WBA World belt? Wow.
I want to know what made him come to Minnesota, where I'm at. That's just it's kind of just strange if you ask me.
But you know why?
Training under Jamal James' coach, same coach.
You know why most people still haven't heard of Dave Morrell? Because the PBC's too busy pushing Joey Spencer. Bums like Joey Spencer instead of guys like Dave Morrell.
Is the PBC pushing him though?
I mean,
they're trying to push Joey.
I haven't heard anything about him since his last fight.
With this Morrell guy. Tonight, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take a video of I'm gonna record a video of the crowd. I guarantee it's going to be packed in that damn venue. I guarantee it.
Wow, but dude went to Minnesota.
In Minnesota, it's like okay, it's like this. There's some
I thought only Somalis went. I thought only Somalis migrated to Minnesota.
Nah, dude, Minnesota's a lot of black folks here, dude. Look, a lot of dudes from Chicago
that
and all that try
me.
to come here to escape their problems and end up being in some.
How you escape their problems going to -50 to below zero though?
Shit, nigga,
God bless you, my brother.
Yeah.
Man, bro.
Don't get it twisted, man. It go down out here, dude.
All right, man. I'm in Florida right now, and it's literally 75 degrees outside right now, bro.
I'm in Minnesota right now, and it's probably about 5 degrees, 10 degrees.
Oh man.
Well, a lot of guys, especially people that are coming from the third world that have to immigrate here due to different circumstances, have to sort of get in where they fit in. So you have to be able to make connections with willing coaches that can provide you with some short-term housing, coaching assistance, and everything you need to maintain your professionalism while in boxing. So sometimes it's due to connections, sometimes it's due to circumstance. People like Rosario had to go to Florida because he found a coach with stable housing and all the materials that he'd need to compete. So it could be the same with Morrell.
Well, at 5-0, I just hope they're not moving him along too fast.
It actually, man, this year for some strange reason, it actually just started snowing like a week ago.
Well, I'm in Arizona with the palm trees and blue skies, my brother. So God bless y'all.
I know, man. I know.
I am never moving back to Maryland.
Nah, but on some real shit though, the Armory, that venue though, yeah, I'm telling you, y'all need to come out here, come see it. There's a reason why there's a lot of fighters. They keep on bringing fighters here. The atmosphere in Minneapolis around that area is a nice atmosphere. I'm not gonna lie. Especially when it comes to just big old venues. A lot of artists come out here to perform. A lot of people come out here, man. Master P, I think Master P's son played for one of the colleges out here in Minnesota. Yeah,
I think they went to a I think they went to a prep school.
yeah, or something like that.
It was a prep school before college. That they was out there, for years or whatever. And that same son, they eventually went to school in Kentucky. But man, I don't know
Shit,
that
it's cool
again.
till Bob drags
That
Niko
weather though.
Ali to the Armory. Nah, hell nah. But I done seen some good fights at the Armory. I seen Canelo brother get knocked out by Lara. I seen Sebastian Fundora lose to Jamonte Clark live.
That was a gift.
Fuck, who else? I seen a lot of Jamal James fight. I seen Stenosis versus Collazo. And I was surprised, and that's why I'm really surprised that he got a title shot after that fucking bullshit. Real
Stenny
shit.
on this, man.
I was never really sold on Jamal James. I know that's your Minnesota guy, but I only seen a couple of his fights. But to me, he's very tall, and his slim frame, to me, it's begging, to be beat to the body.
Well,
yeah, he got hurt against Butayev last time.
Yeah, he got hurt. Shit, it happens. It's boxing.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fight good opposition, though. Butayev's he's no pushover.
Shit, let's just say if you was in Minnesota, let's say if you were homeless and you needed a place to stay, you could find one real fast. They'll move you in, they'll adopt you, all that. They'll take care of you, all that shit right away. You go and get you a fat snow bunny. They'll take care of you for real. I know a couple, and then I know a couple dudes they'll hook up with some natives. Next thing you know, they send all types of reparations paper that they get from the natives. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. It's crazy out here in Minnesota.
That's like that everywhere, though. To be honest with you,
yeah. Let's just say it goes down here. It's a lot of violence too. A lot of racism, most definitely. They call this thing Minnesota nice, where it's racism with a smile. They'll do things, they'll say things like, oh, we care about whatever. This is a blue state. This is that. But then you'll have situations like George Floyd and the situation where that one cop, she just killed a young brother. Now she's in court, fake crying and shit.
So basically, it's like boxing Twitter. They'll put up a fucking they'll put up a black avatar and say, "Oh, my favorite fighter's black," but then dedicate their entire account to talking shit. It's crazy.
Man, that riot.
How long have you lived there?
Look, y'all over here kicking back, laughing and shit like that, nigga. That riot out here during that shit was wild, bro. Like, man. Reason why.
How long have you lived there?
Never leave the crib without a gun. Never.
How long have you lived in Minnesota?
I lived in Minnesota for like what? Probably like 15 years, whatever total. But I kind of bounced back.
You're used to that weather.
Yeah, I bounced back. I actually grew up in Arlington, Texas.
So you go from Texas to Minnesota. That weather just gotta be shocking to your bones, my brother.
Yeah, man, it's a total shock. When I first touched down in Texas for the first time, I was like, what, 12? Man, I said, man, it's really hot like this. It feels like this forever. And my homeboy, he was like, yeah, dude, it's really hot like this. But real shit. But so Amanda Serrano going to destroy Katie Taylor next year. Maybe if they let her get the fight. Say, yeah, Katie Taylor's finished. She struggled every fight now. Amanda will knock her ass out. Yeah, most definitely.
So who else is on the PBC card today? Tonight.
The two fights I want to see is the Morrell fight and
Richardson
the motherfucking Hitchens fight.
Yeah, the Hawkins, Malik Hawkins. Like I said, there are two Maliks. There's the Malik Warren and Malik Hawkins from Baltimore. I was in the same gym from Calvin Forrest show. Malik Warren, he's the goods. I've never been sold to Malik Hawkins. He's just still raw. You know what I mean? And to me, I think Mayweather is throwing him to the wolves. I think they realize that they don't want to sign, want to keep him on the roster any longer. And I just think they're just throwing him to the wolves to Richardson Hitchens. So
I just get confused because Mayweather doesn't need Hawkins to take a public L to release him. He could just be like, I'm good on you.
I thought
Yeah,
so.
but
So Mayweather
sometimes they
signed
like
both
to
of
earn
them.
their money on when they throw fighters out there. They're like, oh well, let me just give him this last payday or whatever the case may be, and let him show so they can say they have a reason.
Shit,
Bob Arum, it doesn't matter if
they
Bob
didn't do that
Arum
with
will cut
Luis
you
Arias.
quick.
Wait. Hold up. So both of them are signed to Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I know they Floyd, kind of grabbed a bunch of the dudes that Tank was, training with and things of that nature. But as far as Malik Warren, as I'm saying, they want to get something out of it. So I figure when they, because I figure that Richardson Hitchens, he's got talent. So I think after they show him doing, damage to Malik Warren, it would justify their cause. And I know you're saying like, well, they don't need to put him in there to cut him, but I just think, I don't know, because of his connection with Tank, they want to go ahead and give him one more TV payday, and
So
and that's it.
so does Buddy got some L's under his belt or what?
He has one L to Subriel Matias, a fight that pretty much anybody could lose. So I don't if that's Mayweather's decision from a tactical standpoint, they're kind of pissing away a decent investment there, because I'm not gonna say Malik Hawkins is some world beater, but he definitely has good boxing ability. Out of 18 dubs, he has 11 KOs. So I'm not gonna sit here and say he's a feather duster or he's trash. I mean, does he show elite competitiveness? Not as of yet, but I mean, you put a lot of people in there with Subriel Matias, Richardson Hitchens included, and they can get fucked up too. And it's not like he got knocked unconscious. His eye was shut and the doc stopped it. So, I'm not gonna, like I said, if that's Mayweather's plan, okay, that they can do that, but I don't think that's a wise decision.
Well, after you guys see him fight tonight, you get to judge, for yourself on his skills on his latest performance. I know, what my eye tells me and what I like as far as boxers and what I see in him, it's just not my particular cup of tea. I mean, but you know what I mean? I'm not judging another person for what they like. But again, the performance he puts on tonight, everyone will get to see.
Can I add in on that, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, from like last night's conversation, Malik Hawkins, he's a great fighter. It's just that I think how he's been moved throughout the entirety of his career. He hasn't been active enough to be tested, with those, deadly, killers in the division leading up to Subriel Matias. And I thought like that loss to Subriel Matias basically destroyed him to the point where, we probably don't know if he's going to be the same fighter, but I would hope if he does very well against Richardson Hitchens, that could actually show a lot more traction for his career to bounce back even higher.
Hitchens don't have that much power though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, but much like Shakur Stevenson, he's very fast on the inside and doesn't hesitate to let his hands go. Whereas Malik Hawkins struggles on the inside. So if you can get inside on Hawkins, you can definitely hurt him, especially to the body, because usually he just shells up. He pivots nicely, but if you corner him on the ropes where he can't go nowhere, Richardson Hitchens will get the better of those exchanges. So, it's a tough situation. I honestly think it's 50-50. I mean, a lot of people giving Malik Hawkins like no shot, and I'm like, damn, I'm not sure how y'all put that together, but I think it's pretty 50-50. People got Richardson Hitchens knocking Hawkins smooth out, and I'm like, oh, okay, fuck.
Well, I don't know if with a knockout, but I judged him on his win. When I saw him win, he was on the Tank's undercard when Tank was in Baltimore, and I saw, what I mean, and it's like, okay, what I mean. My eyes kind of, that's how I gravitate towards boxers. I don't look at their resumes. I don't resume watch. I look at, if you got the skill, then I'm gonna say, okay, that's definitely some talent there. But like I said, tonight I'll be looking, and we'll see how it goes then.
I got Hitchens outboxing Hawkins. I don't really think Hawkins is tough. He took some big shots against Matias, and he didn't even quit. It's more of a doctor stoppage. He was getting badly hurt though, and Hitchens, he's not a big puncher. He's very fundamentally sound though, and I just see him picking apart the jab, keeping the fight at bay, and winning a competitive but clear decision.
Yeah, I think so too. Uh,
Hey,
and
what time
Hitchens
that
is
fight
very
start?
confident too. He's very
Hey, Art,
confident.
you know what time that fight start?
I think that
I
whole
know I'm
card
going
starts at
up there
like
like
8.
I'm going up there like 7 o'clock.
If I start at like what, 8
Well,
o'clock?
I'm Eastern time, so don't listen to me. Art is fucking
Yeah,
Central Mountain.
so I'm
Okay,
thinking about
Yeah, that's like an hour behind.
like 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Yeah,
I'm be
'cause
up there
Morrell
though.
fight tonight too, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, Raul
Oh
Valenzuela, he's a
man,
co-main event.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some stars gonna be out there tonight too. Stars in boxing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you run into any fighters, do some interviews with them.
if they at 168, they better have their ass there.
Said do some
yeah, because
interviews.
Morrell's is fucking good. What y'all think? What y'all
David
think
I,
about
Morrell,
the
he's
fight though?
awesome too.
which one?
Morrell and Fox.
Oh shit, I think
A lot of
Fox gonna
people
fuck
got him
around and
stopping
get
Fox.
stopped late.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's. I mean, with all due respect, because I've actually watched some. I've watched more Fox fights than I have Morrell's fights, of course, because they have longer. Fox has been in the game longer, but when it comes from a puncher's perspective and a footwork perspective, there's not Alantes Fox doesn't show enough mobility to be able to evade Morrell for long. Not to mention Morrell, the bad thing about him is that he's rangy himself, so he doesn't need to go all the way in on you to land clean. He doesn't need to actually be in the pocket to be able to land clean, and he punches on the move, which is also good. Once he gets you on the ropes, he has excellent punch selection. He usually gets the better of all his exchanges by having quicker hands. So there's not a lot of paths to victory for Alantes Fox aside from catching him on the way in with something, probably either a straight right or an
Does
uppercut.
Fox have power?
He has
Uh,
decent
Yeah,
power,
he
but
has
it's not going to
decent
be
power.
enough in this situation.
But
because
I would,
Fox used to be at 154 with Andrade. Because I saw that fight.
Yeah, and David Morrell is coming down from light heavyweight. A lot of people don't know that his
Yeah, I
first
didn't
few
know that.
fights were at
yeah,
175.
Morrell, he's big.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah, he's
actually
a big
coming down.
dude.
He's actually coming down in weight. So it's a tough situation for Alantes here. There's not a lot of paths to victory
Yeah,
in
so
this
D-Hive
situation.
just think this is just a lose-lose situation for the nigga.
I believe so, although.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
D-Hive.
I just
I
I
mean,
like
both the
him,
Fox
but I'm just keeping
brothers
it
can
real.
fight, Yeah, both the Fox brothers can fight, but Morrell to me is
D-Hive like,
just
well, I don't think
he's.
he gonna make it at all.
So
I
I'm
think
not
he got next
I'm
up at
not familiar with either
168.
one of these guys, so it'll open my eyes to see some new talent. So
Yeah,
what
check
is
out the
Fox
future.
record?
And both the
I
Fox brothers, they have the same issue where they just lack enough power to stop punchers from coming at them. That's been James's whole problem. He didn't have enough power for Ugas, even though that's why it was short notice, and he didn't have enough power to keep Butayev off his ass. I mean, Besputin was
Hey,
smaller than Butayev, but Besputin had enough power and speed to back his ass up some, whereas Jamal James didn't have that. That's why he was just leaping at him.
Yeah,
Jamal James, his frame is
yeah,
so thin though, man. That's the
shouldn't even
problem
be
when you're
fighting
so
no first.
tall for for those divisions, because those guys who are smaller and compact, they're more than likely going to be stronger. And when you got such a small frame, for that size, like I would think Jamal James would want to fill out and move up to something because
yeah.
What class do you think he should fight at? 154? 160?
No.
Shit.
whatever he can fill his frame out. If he can get some pop to go with it, because I just think man, when I look at his small frame, I just think that's a liability. That's all I'm saying. He
I
has so
mean,
much length. So much. Compare him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna compare him to Cruz. Cruz is like a little turtle shell. You have barely any, any surface that you can hit on a guy because he's so tiny. But when you look at Jamal James, he's so long in his frame. It's hard for him to guard any of that. You know what I'm saying? So, even if he go in a high guard, the guard is face, the body is wide open. So to me, I just think guys with long frames like that, are liabilities.
yeah, they don't make niggas like Tommy Hearns no more, where he
Well, Tommy
fucking
Hearns
was kind of skinny, but he'll take your ass out,
but
smooth
Tommy
out.
Hearns were broad though. If you look at Tommy Hearns, his frame, he was actually broad. He had broad shoulders. You know what I mean? He didn't really look skinny. You know what I mean? Even though he was at that weight, he looked kind of broad.
Yeah. Yo, Art, man, what do you think about a Beterbiev versus Canelo fight? How do you think that fight would play out?
I think that shit ain't never happening.
I agree. I agree, but if it did happen, how would it play out?
You gotta wait for
Especially not after
Beterbiev
last
turn
night.
probably 40-41. Then we'll probably get it.
He'll wait till Beterbiev has a iffy decision, or until Beterbiev has a tough fight against someone not on his level.
Or until he gets hurt in camp. Then he'll hop on that shit like a bitch in heat.
Oh, man, y'all brought me back to this, man. The thing is,
I didn't even.
Brown,
I didn't even.
he had the skills to win, man. I don't know why he just.
Yeah, we
So
gotta have some clear differentials here. Like people really conflate boxing skills with like being a superior boxer with being a power puncher. Like I'm not saying that Beterbiev isn't skilled because I understand he comes from, you know, a very schooled amateur background. It was, you know, it wasn't the Olympics or anything, but he did do well. But the thing is though, is that power is the only place where Beterbiev exhibits definitive separation when it comes to his division. And people call me crazy when I'm saying that Brown was a more skilled individual. But, you know, it's just like people will say that Teofimo was more skilled than Kambosos. It's just that Teofimo failed to implement a game plan. Okay, well, yeah, I said the same thing about Brown, and people call me dumb. So it's like what are we doing here? It's okay to say that Brown was more skilled than Beterbiev from, you know, an actual boxing perspective, but Beterbiev's power won out. That's what he does.
Well, I was just going to correlate that to Canelo,
who've never thrown a punch before. So you got to put that in your mind as well.
Yeah,
you know?
like Canelo is vastly more skilled than Beterbiev, but it's going to come down to the power situation.
Canelo versus Beterbiev at a 174 catchweight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, I don't think it'll be at a catchweight, but my point is, with you know, as with Brown, Canelo is more skilled, but can he fight going backwards that entire time, or is he going to actually try to put some pressure on him? Like, could he avoid getting on a ropes? Because I don't think Canelo, I don't know if he could take those pounds, and if he tried to shell up on the ropes, because that man was throwing hammers, you know. So that's my only thing. There are all of these guys, a lot of his opponents are more skilled than him, but can they outbox him and do the right thing and stay off the ropes?
But what was the catchweight?
I didn't even get to see the fight. You know, I was watching Spider-Man, and I just heard and I saw the knockout. I was like, God damn,
that's what I should have been doing.
Right.
Canelo versus Beterbiev, 174 catchweight and a rehydration clause. That's what I would expect to happen.
174. 174 catchweight.
Everybody on this panel, listen, man. If you come with that racist shit, if you come talking shit, I'ma spoil Spider-Man for you in your DMs. So be quiet.
That's interesting. 174 catch rangers at this age. That would be a bitch for Beterbiev to make, considering what we just saw with his weight situation. But I don't know. Honestly, I really don't. I really don't see that fight happening. I don't even know if Canelo's going to come all the way back down to light heavyweight for anybody. So, you know, shit, he might do something crazy like make Benavidez go up.
Think about this, guys. Think about this, D. He might fight Makabuti. You know, he might come down and fight Beterbiev. So the computer on this system will help him carry that power back down.
People talking about he might go to fucking Bridgerweight or some shit. That's what people talking about. People talking about he might go to Bridgerweight and smoke somebody.
I genuinely don't think anyone at 175 right now can beat Beterbiev. Not Bivol, not Zerto, not Canelo.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I feel like if Brown can do it, none of these other dudes can do it.
I think Bivol actually has a decent shot at outpointing him. Because Bivol has the best feet in 175. He's very active with the jab, throws quick combinations. Doesn't go to the body and keeps his hands a little too high for me. But I think that if he's careful and keeps him at distance, that he can probably actually earn a decision. Whether he gets the nod or not is a different question.
I used to favor Bivol in that fight, but the reason that I've switched my pick again is Bivol does not have the power to keep Beterbiev at bay. He's pretty small for a guy at 175, and honestly, I don't truly trust his chin. We saw Joe Smith hurt him, and we've seen Bivol get touched up against guys nowhere near Beterbiev's level, and I think he'd probably get stopped in the later rounds.
Yeah, people say that because of the Craig Richards performance, but I haven't seen enough vulnerability to change my pick just yet. And again, I understand that he doesn't have enough concussive power to keep him at bay, but even Brown was in situations where he forced Beterbiev to reset. And, you know, when you're boxing, That's pretty much all you kind of need, you know, to keep. It's not about keeping someone far away from you. It's about forcing them to reset so you can pivot, take a step back, take a step off, land some combination, and move out the way just to buy yourself time while scoring points.
I just find it crazy, man, how the second opponent to fight Marcus Browne has their head split open, but we saw that Beterbiev was able to react to it in a very respectable way. It actually woke him up and really caused a sense of urgency. You got to respect it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
he
he
fought
thought if it
better
went down
once
to
he
a
got that
technical
cut.
decision, he wasn't in the position to win the fucking fight. He didn't want it to get stopped that early. He wanted to get some rounds in the bank. So if they did have to stop the fight due to a cut, he could win the TD because he saw what happened to Browne in the previous situation.
I had Browne winning like the first 4 rounds, so he once he got that cut, it is. I mean, what Max said, he actually that sense of urgency, you know what I mean, chimed in, and he just fought better. He fought with more focus. I think he actually took his corner's advice. They told him to go to the body, and it's funny. We heard his corner advice, but we didn't hear Marcus Browne corner advice.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. So
I need
you know,
to
he
hear
was
what Derek
telling.
James was saying.
That body is what did it, man. Again, the dude has a sledgehammer. Everybody knew that. We knew that coming into this, and I never thought Marcus Browne would be able to slug with him. I thought he was going to do the smart thing, stay off the ropes, stick and move. You know what I mean? And he did very well. And even after the first knockdown, Marcus Browne came back and aggressive and went run around after the knockdown. But some reason, my dude just like, okay, yeah, just have your sweep, you have your free swings, with that hammer. And then I just didn't, man.
People keep talking about his chin issues when it was the body shots that did it. I'm just like, what
absolutely
the
fuck? The body.
Yeah, like he was like, oh, see, we told you he had no chin. I'm like, but he quit based on the body shots. Like, what the fuck?
What do you guys think Marcus Browne should do next? Do you think he should retire? Think he should fight someone like a Bivol or Zerto, or do you think he should take some tune-up?
No.
I don't know. I told the guys last night I'm not even Marcus Browne. He let me down not because he lost. He let me down because he quit. When you on your knee and you take a 10 count and you look in the ref in his eyes, and then as soon as he counts to 10, you get up, you quit. And I don't respect that. I would respect him if he got knocked out. I'd be like, you gave it a good shot, good try. Let's regroup. But once you quit, like mentally, what does that do to you as a fighter? Like, how are you gonna come back from that? Just knowing that another man beat you to the point where you didn't get knocked out, you quit. That's going to be a tough one to bounce back from.
I mean, he can beat a few other people in the top 10, but as far as him being in title contention while the current people are there, I don't think that's a good situation. But he should do what other people do, fight a few more contenders, and then probably check out. Considering, but it just depends on his commitment. Are you going to do what's necessary? Are you going to listen to your corner advice? Are you going to stick to a game plan? He's in like a TFE mode situation, despite not being a champion at the time. Got to make some decisions.
I want to see the Badou Jack rematch.
I don't want to see that at Badou Jack's age.
Oh, that's trash.
Oh shit! Hello.
Yeah, I ain't trying to see all that.
Why not? I mean,
Can y'all hear me?
Have you seen Badou Jack lately? I mean,
Badou Jack looks horrible.
I wouldn't say he looks horrible, but I don't think that the fight does either of them any good from a career perspective.
What else can you do?
I mean, like, you really can't gain.
I thought Badou moved up to cruiser. I thought Badou Jack was moving up to cruiser.
Yo,
no, he's still light heavy, I think.
Yo, so I just got off the phone with my dude who's I didn't even know. He says he has media credentials for the fight tonight.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, he just said, I just got off the phone with him, but he was like, yeah, man, I just interviewed David Morrell, and he was like, man, this motherfucker looks like he can make cruiserweight.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he just told me. He said, man, watch, when you see him, I'm going to probably stick around after the fight, probably try to interview him my damn self. But he said that motherfucker's huge. He said he can make cruiserweight right now. So looks like he most likely he rehydrated to probably like 190.
How tall is he?
6'1". He's 6'1".
Oh yeah.
Yeah, allegedly, that's what
Yeah,
boxing.
he's like a inch taller than me. Yeah.
He has a 78.5-inch reach as well.
Yeah,
BoxRec is some cap.
And they
They
said,
have
he
they
also
have
told me
Benavidez as
fight
like
a
Benavidez'
68.
pops is there too.
What?
Benavidez' dad is going to be there.
Nice.
oh Benavidez
Because
Senior.
because that dude that knocked out Teofimo in sparring is going to be fighting.
Yeah, Raul Valenzuela.
Yeah. So yeah, we gonna see how that one goes. Yeah, it sounds like they're setting this guy Morrell up to be the future of that division, but somebody's gonna have to relinquish those belts
Yeah. When
because
Canelo,
I don't see Canelo fighting neither one of those dudes.
he won't.
And Plant's actually lucky. Plant's lucky he got to cash out on a Canelo fight rather than having a fight be forced to fight a guy like Morrell or some shit.
Yeah. And
I
now
mean,
Plant talking about some damn Charlo or whatever, and I'm like, all right.
Because
I mean,
he touched the money, nigga. It's not about getting hurt for less, nigga. It's
I think
about
that'll
getting
be a
hurt
good
for
fight though.
more.
D Plant versus Charlo. I've always said that'll be a good fight.
I mean, yeah, because Charlo needs an introduction to 168, but I mean, I was thinking, fucking, we can finally get that Charlo v. Jacobs, but this punk ass trying to fight some damn Ryder.
I think
know.
Plant would beat Charlo.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
You
but,
said
know,
what?
I think
that's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good fight.
I think Charlo beat Plant easy
Yeah, it's a 50-50
by stoppage.
fight, you know, so
I think Charlo
Doesn't say
with how he moves with how Charlo moves as far as from a footwork perspective, he would kind of need to get a stoppage as far as victory, as far as boxing ability. Because if Plant keeps it pushing, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Plant, if it goes to full 12, Plant's going to probably have enough rounds in the bag for a decision. But I think Charlo is capable of stopping Plant. But do I think he actually would stop Plant? I don't think so, personally.
I think he'll stop Plant.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he would, in my opinion.
Plant's defense,
Especially at 168, since he's going up in weight and he no longer has to drain himself. Yeah, I think so.
We gotta see what the power's hitting. Like, I think he has the ability to stop Plant, but there are times in fights where both the Charlo brothers look like they can't finish a fucking sandwich, bro. Like, you got to get on them, take a half step back, and start landing hooks up to the body and up top. They don't set shit up. They just run in swinging all wild and crazy, and it's like, oh, fuck.
How about Charlo versus Benavidez? I would definitely pick Benavidez in that one.
Charlo don't want to fight Benavidez.
I don't think he does either.
I think he has a chance to beat Beterbiev.
Yeah, especially because
Charlo
Benavidez
can
has
beat
been
Benavidez.
Too big,
Benav-
Benavidez.
Y'all said that about Gavril, and Gavril dropped his ass. The fight was so close, he had to rematch him to ensure the public that he won.
That was years ago.
And Kyron Davis.
Okay.
Kyron Davis was this year, so
Yeah, Kyron Davis came up from 154, and the moment he showed that he wasn't scared, he actually started landing on Benavidez. I'm not saying Benavidez is definitely not going to win. I just don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Charlo to be able to beat him, especially because he's been dropped.
yeah, me too.
It's possible. I just wouldn't favor it. I'm much more confident that Benavidez would beat Charlo than I would be in Plant.
That makes sense though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
And also, I don't think
might be a
that
question.
I don't think that I wouldn't say it's a fear kind of a situation. It's just that you're vacating to fight a dangerous opponent for pretty much no reward outside of maybe fan service and another paycheck. It's that situation. If there was a situation where he could pull some shit where he just goes up, fights, and then comes back down and gets to be a champion again, maybe I could see that. But or if Benavidez had a belt himself. But if we're talking about call outs, boxers call each other out all the goddamn time, but no one gets any ridicule for not fighting them except fucking I think Errol Spence and fucking Charlo. Shit, Ryan Garcia calls out Jesus Christ and is still fighting crippling depression. So it's like
Man, fuck
Man,
Ryan
don't get me
Garcia.
started on Ryan Garcia. Ryan, that pussy ass nigga.
Ryan Garcia's gonna rematch.
Ryan ruined his reputation in the streets fucking too bad, man.
Ryan is gonna rematch who?
He's gonna get killed.
Carlos Morales is what he's probably gonna do. He's probably gonna rematch Carlos Morales or some crap.
Fucking why?
That's just what Ryan does. He'll say he's about to fight Tank and then fight another bum.
I just like pick a new bum
Ryan's
though.
gonna
Why are you
get killed.
giving rematches? I heard Tank might actually go through with the Rolly shit next year, which I'm like, what? What?
How does fighting Rolly benefit him in any way? I mean,
Some bread?
people didn't want to see the fight in the first place, and now after he got that replacement against Cruz, people have even less interest in the Rolly fight. It makes no sense.
I guess if it's at 135, he has to sort of reacclimate himself, do another training camp, test his power on his, especially from his left hand after healing, and also it's it's guaranteed bread. So there's that. But
And Gervonta's career is being destroyed, so
it's not leaving a memorable mark, which I don't think is the goal. I wouldn't say his career is being destroyed. I mean, his reputation amongst fans is sure, but fans are gonna hate him no matter who he fucking fights.
but the reason why that I have to say that is because Floyd Mayweather, he's not giving us like what like we hardcore fans want, and therefore, if this keeps up, Gervonta, he's gonna basically be food for the next up and coming fighter that Mayweather Promotions will probably hype up, and then Floyd Mayweather will just pull off like a Bob Arum on him.
Damn, I don't think Tank gonna be food for anybody, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying Gervonta is gonna be damaged goods and he's gonna get knocked out. I just think like how he's being moved. These are his best years, and they're wasting his best years. But when it comes to his prime being over, it's like Gervonta is still gonna be Gervonta, but he's not gonna be the same Gervonta that we wanted to see years ago.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, shit. If it was up to me, I'd have him. I'd have Haney fight Kambosos, and while that's happening, I'd have Tank v Lomachenko. But it ain't up to me. The fights would make too much sense.
No, I think he should push for that Ryan fight. Even though we know it wouldn't happen, at least push for it. Make a clear effort, because if it does get made, it's a free win for Tank and a big name on his resume and a big payday.
Ryan Garcia is not a big name.
I was gonna say the big name part is a bit of a stretch. If he had accomplished a little bit more, I could understand that. But it's just popular. Like people. That's why pound for pound list is so fucked up, because people are rating internet popularity more than actual skills and accomplishments.
I've never seen anyone put Ryan on a pound for pound list though.
I'd never said he was. I'm saying that's one of the reasons why pound for pound list creates so much dissension nowadays, because people are going off of internet popularity. Before social media took over boxing, pound for pound lists are pretty standard across the board. Now everyone has a different one.
That's true.
Yep. There's no consensus number one, and everybody has a different fighter on the list. Some are pretty much the same, but and the criteria has changed. A lot of criteria is just being shitted on. Like, you're not supposed to have heavyweights on your pound for pound list, but everybody has Tyson Fury on their fucking pound for pound list. Doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't hold any more weight.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. Before social media, it was widely understood that heavyweights have no business on the pound for pound list, because you're comparing everyone underneath them to the heavyweights. How would they do at heavyweight with all things being equal? Nowadays, no one cares. It's like, oh, Usyk number 2, Tyson Fury number 6, like just shit like that. So now we can't even agree on the fucking basics.
There's people that have a Nui above Crawford, and I say to myself, imagine if Crawford fought someone on RN Dipian's level, the last guy Nui fought. He would be getting slandered everywhere. But since Nui does it, no one cares. No one gives him no one criticizes him at all, and it just shows the double standards.
Yeah, and Inoue is 1 year older than Tank. I believe 1 year older. Yeah, and that motherfucker had his debut in fucking prison. And to keep in mind, they're talking about people's pay-per-view numbers. Inoue fought on the motherfucking Tuesday. This nigga's fighting on Tuesday morning. Literally, I was at work watching this shit. I fucking clock in from my, because I work from home. I clock in on my shit. I turn on my other laptop to watch Inoue. I'm like, niggas, I'm drinking my morning coffee watching you fight. The fuck?
Oh, wait, Inoue.
Hey, I just wanted to chime in. Listen, a lot of people may be disappointed with the selection of Tank opponents, but you guys got to realize what they were doing, especially is just trying to go ahead and. I see the bigger picture. Like he just completed his third pay-per-view. You know what I mean? And regardless of what people say, Steven Espinoza basically confirmed that it did over 200,000. He just didn't give the number out yet. But my thing is that for his first 3 fights, he did 200,000. Oscar De La Hoya, in his sixth pay-per-view, he did 240,000. So we call him the face of boxing. We allow him growth Well, all of a sudden, Tank in his third pay-per-view. So what they were trying to do was just get people, okay, test the waters out. So when he actually fight those big names, it'll be worth big dollars. You know, because think about this: Terrence Crawford, his entire career, he's only made over 5 million twice, against Amir Khan and of course against Porter. And that's because of the money that they commanded that forced Bob Arum to bring his pay up. They have a plan for Tank to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and put him out here now. So when we make these big fights, these fights can be worth 50 million or whatever the case may be. You know, because everybody's talking about him so now, you know, so much now and so much hate for him now. So when he finally fights one of these top guys, the world's going to clamor for it. So whether you see that angle or not, I see it, and I think it's it's a good strategy. It's just to build him into a pay-per-view star. Because if let's say he would have fought, even though he was scheduled to fight Lomachenko in 2020, I don't know if you guys knew it. Loma said, "Let me unify the titles with Tio, and then I want to organize a fight with Gervonta Davis." Well, Loma didn't keep up with his end of the bargain, but that fight now going forward, it's going to be a bigger fight, believe it or not. So,
well, them niggas over at TMT gonna marinate some shit too long and it's gonna get soggy. Hopefully they put it together.
Well, I say my three choices for Tank. If I want to see him fight right now, I would say I would like to see him fight Kambosos. He's my number one choice to get those belts. And then if he can't fight Kambosos, fight Loma.
Man,
if he can't fight Loma, I want him to fight. I want the rematch versus Cruz as it's the third choice.
Man, I really want Tank versus Josh Taylor, bro. At 140. I don't even like him at 135 anymore. I want to see him at 140.
Yeah, Tank versus Taylor at 140 is good.
I want Tank versus Haney, but Leonard Ellaby already pretty much said that shit's over.
How about Tank versus Regis?
Yeah, I
like that.
I'm not interested in
the reason
only fight at 140
for all those belts. That'd be funny, man. If Tank was undisputed, what can they really say?
Mm-hmm.
But that's my whole thing. The only fight that I want him to fight at 140 is Josh Taylor. Other than that, there's no other name that I will be because I want him to clear out a division. I want him to master a division. I want him to fight Devin Haney for undisputed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see him keep jumping without mastering, you know what I mean, and truly clearing out a division. You know, Canelo, he had the opportunity to clear out 160, because he had to fight for Andre for undisputed, and he said he was too boring. He didn't want to fight, and he only fought two fighters at 160 and jumped up, right? So he didn't clear out the division. He never cleared out 154 because, again, at 154 he was Andre's mandatory. And he was also, again, the Charlos were calling him out. So he never, and of course he lost to Floyd. So he never cleared out a division. And now they're saying that, obviously he's undisputed at 168. But in my estimation, Benavidez was always the number one rated 168. And to me, it's hard to say you clear out the division if you're ducking the number one guy. That's just my take on it. People look at the belts, but I look at the circumstances. So I want Tank to actually do that in 135 before he entertained going up to 140. Except again, if it's for Josh Taylor. That's my opinion on that.
This Gongora fight is actually good as hell. Ah shit. LaRon Richards really showing something here.
Oh, this fight's on right now?
Yeah, it's the DAZN card. I had Gongora by fucking split decision, but fuck. Might be fucking my shit up here. I don't know. Richards is up.
Yeah, Richards looked pretty sharp in this fight.
He's just too quick for him. And it's crazy because Gongora has the power advantage, but Richards just too fast. Shit.
Yeah, Richards, he's good.
Yeah, it looks like Richards gonna close this shit out unless he get caught. And Gongora figure some shit out like he did with Akhmedov.
Yeah.
Better get those uppercuts on his ass.
Hey, Art Man. So listen, you guys, the panel. So everyone likes to talk about Tank's opponents. Tank's last 4 opponents: Cruz, Barrios, Leo, and Gamboa. Loma's last 4 opponents. What was it? Comey, Nakatani, Comey, Nakatani, Tio, um, uh, Luke Campbell, and Krola. So my whole thing is this: who really had the last better four, Tank or Tio? I mean, Tank or Loma, because Loma is
They're
fighting
gonna rank
retreads.
Loma because of T.O.
But the thing about it is, look, to think about it, Tio was a 15-0 prospect, basically. When I say he was a prospect, because when he fought Comey, whatever the case may be, I never rated Comey. I don't, he just happened to win the belt, and he'll never be champion again because he's not that skilled. I've always told people, I don't trust African fighters who are not trained, in America. If you're from Ghana, if you're from Nigeria, if you're trained in America, you're going to get the proper training. You're going to get the proper, you know competition. They're not going to get that at home, so therefore they even though they have the athletic ability, they just don't have the skill. So I never rated Comey. So again, I just mentioned those last four. So when you look at Comey and Nakatani, those are two retreads. Okay, when you look at Luke Campbell, again, he's a non-factor. Period. And when you look at Krola, come on, brothers. So my whole thing is, I look at Tank's last four, and I rated against Loma's last four. Tank actually had the better four because again, Tio was a prospect. People forgetting about that. He was just prospect of the year when he fought Comey.
Well, people don't rate
you know,
Teofimo as a prospect because he had the IBF. They gave him
but he
championship.
had,
They gave him championship credentials because they don't because since he had the IBF, because by that logic, then we would have to consider people like Lomachenko and Butayev prospects because of their limited professional experience. And that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, that's what the consensus was.
Yeah, plus I don't really
I get that, but and I get that, but the thing about it, when I look at it, I see, okay, Comey, he went 2 rounds with Comey, a guy who was a fringe fighter in the first place. You know what I mean? Comey had never did anything. He fought most of his fights over in Africa, and then he did a couple of UK things for Commonwealth belts, and that's it, right? So he was never like that top guy just because he won a belt. That's like Charles Martin. That's like Jeff Horn. You know what I mean? These guys are fringe. They get one belt, they get one win. But my thing is, he only had 15 fights. He was unrefined, and he had a horrible fight against Nakatani right before that. And so this is the reason why I never rated him, and this is the reason why I never thought, even after he beat Loma, that he should have been in pound for pound. So that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My thing with Comey is, I rated Comey, but when he lost to Teofimo Lopez, anybody that beat him afterwards wasn't going to get super credit because I've already seen this guy stopped and I've seen him hurt multiple times. Lomachenko beating that version of Comey, it's not as big as Teofimo Lopez beating Comey. So for him to say, oh, because of that victory over Richard Comey, that's a better victory than Cruz and Diaz, I just feel like that's ridiculous.
Nah, it doesn't make any sense. And especially because if we look at how the wins are gonna age, like Comey hadn't done much before Teofimo and Lomachenko because he lost 2 back-to-back step-up fights, and then Teofimo blasts him out of there in 2 rounds like you're supposed to, and Lomachenko's over here begging for a corner stoppage. Like, I mean, before he even got to Teofimo and Lomachenko, he was already where he was supposed to be at, a guy who loses step-up fights consistently. And now that nothing's changed, people need to rate him to make Lomachenko look good the same way they rated Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell has enjoyed almost no professional fucking success. He has no championship credentials. So,
And you got to think about it like this. A lot of people, they love to rate common opponents and who finished them off better. You know what I'm saying? Because they do EJ and Bud like that. Kell Brook. Oh, some people will tell you Bud beat Kell Brook better because he did it in a shorter amount of time. But by that criteria, T.O. beat what's his name, Comey, better than Lomachenko because he got him out in 2 rounds, and Lomachenko couldn't stop him. Like you said, he was begging for that corner stoppage, trying to make it seem like he's doing something. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and then
it's fucking pathetic.
But a lot of them, ask y'all, who had the better four, Tank or Loma? Who do you guys think? Who had the better last 4 opponents, Tank or Tio? I mean, Tank or Loma?
Santa Cruz. It was Leo Santa Cruz, Barrios. Wasn't it Leo Santa Cruz, Barrios? That's Cruz. So it was before Leo Santa Cruz.
And Gamboa.
Gamboa.
It's kind of a trade-off.
Boss Town. Shout out to my dude, Boss Town. We out here Thugging, man. We going to that Morrell fight tonight, man. But yeah, we just chopping it up, man. Gervonta Davis, he need to get more respect, dude. And I don't like the way they just always shitting on him. It's not like you guys are calling this guy the best fighter in the world. You guys call Canelo the best fighter in the world, but Tank get more criticized and more analysts over his career than Canelo, than the guy that y'all says the best in the world.
But check this out. Check this out. Look at this dude, Mikhail Beltran. Tank is a world champion. He's not even top 30 P for P. That was how many opponents has Canelo had that were just like that? A single weight world champion with no actual credentials. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here, man. Just like this is exactly what I'm talking about. They're criticizing Tank for being. I'm like, so basically, you're saying Tank is worthy of a Canelo fight then? Because if that's the case, if he's number one, he's a three-way fucking champion. But if you're gonna say that, then you got to look at Canelo's last 4 or 5 opponents. They've all been single weight world champions with fucking no other credentials. They haven't fought anybody. Triple G himself only had one reputable name under his belt before he got a Canelo fight, and he was only a one-weight world champion. Still is to this fucking day. So like, what are we doing here?
And I saw a tweet that this dude put up. They're trying to shit on Charlo. Like, how many world champions did he beat? Charlo beat like 3, right? In those years that they didn't beat any.
Yeah, exactly. And people forget Charlo's coming up from 154. They said, "Oh, he's a single weight world champion." No, he's coming up from 154. Like they keep saying that. Oh, he's only been at middleweight. And I'm like, even if he was, you've never asked Triple G to move up. You've never asked Kovalev to move up. So like, what are we doing?
Do the same thing for EJ, but Bum Lufkin never had to move up. He's never had to do anything. He said he wanted smoke from 160. 154 to 168. You got motherfuckers calling you out from 154 to 168, and you don't want no smoke. So the criticism is different. You know, the criticism is different for us. The criticism is different because they're telling you who the best is. I don't care if you agree, you disagree, you know, because Tank, like you said, Tank gets more criticism than the quote-unquote best fighter in the world.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is, I'm not even. I mean, it's difficult because they both like Tiafimo, I think, is better than Isaac Cruz and the other person that he fought. Whereas I don't think he's better than Leo Santa Cruz or a maybe a Barrios is 50-50, and he's not as accomplished. Well, I mean, he's more accomplished than Gamboa, but as far as like prime Gamboa, what he was doing, so it's a trade-off, and that conversation is whatever. But this is why I think that they both need to fight each other, because a lot of Loma's like hype. Number one, it just comes from him being white. Let's get that out the way. It comes from him being fucking white. And number two, it's because he happened to accumulate a lot of belts at the same time, whether the people were leftovers, whether the people were actually rated or not. So that's where he gets his hype from. And I thought a lot of it was...
It's my bad. I'm just going to say the thing is that he was given those opportunities. He didn't earn those opportunities. They gave them to him. You know?
He was politics.
He lost to Salido, and then he fought for the same belt after that.
Yeah, that was pitiful. 1-0, you get a championship opportunity. 1-1, you lose, and you still get the same championship opportunity for the same belt, and you're 1-1. That's only going to happen to someone of his characteristics. Put it that way.
And then
that doesn't happen to American fighters.
And then it's funny because when I say that I think Shakur Stevenson should get the same fast track treatment, all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh no, we don't need to rush him. I'm like, nah, nigga, nah. Let Shakur Stevenson whoop some asses he's not supposed to be whooping. Let him go ahead, rush him in there. That's why when they talk about Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko, I was like, man, fuck it.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, you think Lomachenko gonna really get in there and do something? Oh shit, Richards won, son of a bitch. Anyways, but I was like, yeah, you think fucking Lomachenko gonna get in there and do something with Stevenson? Nah, he probably still got PTSD from sparring. So it's like, nah, dude, do that shit. Bob Arum is fucking up. He's trying to get Shakur Stevenson beaten. It's not gonna work. That's why I said in the meantime, in between time, Shakur Stevenson should fuck off 2 Mandos, smoke their ass. And then the winner of Lomachenko v. Kambosos petition the WBO. Off top.
I just think Shakur needs to leave Top Rank, honestly, because I think something fishy is going to happen to his career, and I think Bob Arum's trying to destroy him.
I just think they're gonna stall him. They're gonna put him on the shelf. They're gonna be like, they're gonna let him collect ring rust, which I don't
Yeah, they're
want. I
going to
think,
treat him like Crawford.
yeah, like he
Uh,
needs to be active.
Hey, let me respond to this guy, Jay Perez. Okay, he said one-legged old Gamboa. How was he had one leg? How did he get that one leg? He got it because Tank put him on his ass, right? But if he just had one leg, how was he able to throw more punches but land less punches against Tank than he did against Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford? He only landed 13%, even though throwing over 600 punches. Okay, he landed. He only was 78 punches against Tank. Okay, so and if his leg was that broke, if his leg was there, why did he keep popping up? Every time he got knocked down, he got up. He was never limping in the ring. So you're saying that, but that's not the case. Okay, if his leg was really that messed up, then maybe he would have been knocked down 10 times instead of just 3 times. So he was a very tough guy, game competitor, and his leg did nothing to stop him from throwing the punches that he was throwing, including the combinations and playing roughhouse and everything else. So no, you're not going to use that excuse. Okay, Tank, to me, I panned the performance because it was Tank's lowest output, as well as he only was going for the knockout and he wasn't showing his boxing ability, and he just didn't train for that fight. He had a lot of personal things going on and so forth. So therefore, I was not happy with his performance, but he dominated Gamboa. Period.
Did
Okay.
did
Now
didn't that same Gamboa manage to beat a better version of Salido?
Good job, buddy.
yeah. So and then the second one, you said the Barrios and Cruz. First of all, Cruz will beat a lot of your guys that you think are top at 135. Cruz showed his mettle, and I also predicted before the fight that Cruz was going to be a better fight than Ryan and Raleigh. Okay, Cruz will be a lot of those guys. So he showed that he can bring something to the table. I had Tank win at 8-4, even with a broken hand, but Cruz showed me that he knows what to do when he get in the ring, period. So no, you're not going to say that. Is Cruz better than Campbell, Luke Campbell? Yes.
Yeah.
Is Cruz better than Nakatani? Yes.
Yes.
Is Cruz better than Richard
Yep.
Comey? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So don't. Leo Santa Cruz, a four division, and I only bring that up because you guys bring it up. But he's been a 4 division champ, division 5-time champ since 2012, and he is still the 126 champ. Okay, since 2012. Okay, he's had 5 career-defining fights. Okay, he's number 1 in punch output. He's number 1 punches thrown, punches landed. This is what his currently is. Number 1 in boxing. Okay, the last decade, this is what he's carrying. He's number 2 in accuracy, number 3 with 28 punches landed per round. So Leo Santa Cruz has a Hall of Fame resume. You can't take that away from him. And people, he came up. Leo Santa Cruz has not been 118 since his first year of boxing. Okay, and he left that in 2013. So you guys try. The only reason why you take away credit from Leo Santa Cruz is because he fought Tank. If he fought Loma, you would be cherish him in the world. And also, if you go back and look at the ring, and I hate ring because they're again the propagandists. But the thing about it, they had Leo rated as number 1 in his divisions, for years. So you guys try to discredit it. Now I just destroyed you, Jay Perez. Now how about you take this mic? How about you come on the set, and I want to hear what you have to say. Okay?
Yeah, just come on to the channel.
I just destroyed your Loma propaganda, sir. So
Can I
that's
can I
it.
also add him?
Huh?
Can I chime in?
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Lomachenko, he's a decent fighter, but at the end of the day, he's never been in there with any real killers. The only real killers that he's yet to really face is Gervonta, Tank Davis, and I'd probably say anybody at 130 at the time and now, and definitely at 135 and probably even at 140 because Lomachenko, he looks too big for 135 anyway. But to add on to the point, if Lomachenko is this great fighter, why didn't he just go after all the top guys at 130 and 135 and not hold off these fights leading to his like early 30s, like coming to the peak of his prime being ended? Because at this point Lomachenko's holding off these fights and you're letting these guys get better, and there's going to come a time where Lomachenko's not going to become Lomachenko anymore, and it seems like Loma, he's basically letting himself get beat at the end.
Right.
Well,
And great fighters don't need franchise witness protection. Devin Haney has no power and no chin. Should have been some easy ass work. So I don't understand what the fuck the holdup was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Devin
then
Haney is garbage. So what was the stall?
Lomachenko is 17-2 with 11 knockouts. Let that sink in. 17 and was 16? 16-2. Lomachenko is 16-2 with 11 knockouts. And you guys rave about that, even though he's never fought a B level fighter. Everything he's fighting, and even when you share the common opponent with Pedraza, Tank destroyed Pedraza. Tank didn't destroy Pedraza with his power. Tank was outperforming Pedraza in every category. Loma went 12 rounds, got the panda eyes by Pedraza. You know, the ESPN telecast in the 10th round, they were saying, you know, what do you think about Loma? It's like they were all disappointed in Loma in the 10th round versus the Pedraza. So don't give me this Loma is so great, but yet he can't dominate pedestrian fighters. He struggled against Luke Campbell. He struggled against Pedraza. He struggled against Linares, and he struggled against Teo. Okay, so if you're supposed to be this superior, number one pound for pound fighter in the world, not only are should you be fighting top level talent, but you should be performing levels above them, and he has not done that. Okay, so don't give me this. He did what he did against Comey. To me, like I said, Comey has athletic ability, but he does not have that high boxing IQ or that talent. Period.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of, like, for example, look at Canelo's opponents. Most of Canelo's opponents, especially the ones at 168, were receiving zero press before Canelo even mentioned their fucking name. Like, some of us who are hardcore boxing fans might have been watching these people, but and not even Canelo's. People forget, not even Canelo's hardcore fans gave a fuck if he competed at super middleweight, because they knew there was nobody up there. But they saw a division that they knew he would run through, and all of a sudden they were calling for the fights. No one cared about fucking Callum Smith. No one cared about Rocky Fielding. Like, nobody gave a shit about those people. Absolutely nobody. So you're rating these people and then it's funny because before the fight, they'll say that these people are bums and stand no chance. But after the fight, they were some kind of great champion. I mean, look at what just happened with Browne. Everyone was saying Browne is trash, has no chin, has no skills. But now all of a sudden they're sucking Beterbiev's dick as the greatest. You can't do both. Either Browne was a quality win, or Beterbiev in his fucking 17 fights has still only fought one fucking guy. And if that's the case, then you're really making Beterbiev look bad. That's why I don't understand people get on my ass by saying Browne was an elite fighter. I'm giving Beterbiev some respect. I'm giving him some credit. Y'all are fucking him up by saying he ain't fighting no damn body. Because otherwise it makes him look like the fucking Triple G of 175 or worse, Lomachenko. So basically all he got to do is fight some damn body and then he loses? Like, that's a bad look.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just had, unfortunately, most people, today's boxing fans, I didn't grow up this way. You know what I mean? I grew up, with my dad and my granddad, my brothers, and, we're watching boxing on ABC, Wild Worlds of Sports and things of that nature when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? This is how I was introduced to boxing and things of that nature. And boxing were real fans. Now boxing is basically people who are influenced by this propaganda media. You listen to these pound for pounds. The pound for pounds have no relevance in boxing at all. It is subjective. It is not objective. Okay? There's too many variables for you to say, oh, this fighter is the best fighter in the world. Now you can say, okay, these are the top fighters that I rate as the best, but to quantify, I'm going to put what's his name? The Japanese guy.
Inoue.
I'm
In a
I'm
way,
gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna rate in a way number 2 pound for pound above Errol Spence. Well, when you make that statement, you automatically let me know this has nothing to do with boxing ability. This has nothing to do with achievements. Has nothing to do with any of that. This has everything to do with marketing. So so this, unfortunately, a lot of these boxing fans today, all they do is regurgitate what they see from Ring Magazine or ESPN's pound for pound. They have no mind of their own. This is the reason why I'm more about what I see with the eye test. Does this person have elite skill? Does this person have the ability? Does this person have innate talent? This is what catches me. I don't care about the resume. Why? Because resumes come with time. Okay. If you continue to show your natural gifts and ability and continue to grow your talent, then guess what? Then your resume is going to build. I don't need for you to have an outstanding resume when you have 15 fights, when you had 20 fights. You know what I mean? So for me, I like to latch on the fighters and catch them at their early stages. When we're talking about Tank, when he get to 40 fights, you're going to be singing a different tune. So you're saying what you're saying now, but either way, I just gave y'all a demonstration of the last 4 opponents, Tank last 4 versus Loma's last 4, and Tank clearly had the better last 4. You guys want to say T.O., but nobody. But again, T.O. was a prospect before he fought Loma and Comey, whatever the case may be, and he was just a prospect. I like T.O. I actually picked T.O. to beat Loma because of his size and his strength, not his boxing ability. Loma has the better boxing ability, but I just didn't think Loma would be able to get over that hump. Period. So you guys look at these pound for pound ratings and all of a sudden you want to discredit. The only reason why you guys talk negative about Tank is because you hear this propaganda media talking negative about Tank. If you see Tank in the middle of the ring doing his thing, displaying his skill and his God-given talent, there's nothing bad that you can say about his performances.
They couldn't say nothing bad about that Barrios performance. They knew that was good.
Well, no, I mean they're gonna shit on Tank no matter who he fights. Let's get that out the way. They're shitting on Tank not because of his competition. They're shitting on Tank because he's fucking black. If he can get in there with Lomachenko tomorrow and fold his ass, and they would say, "Oh yeah, you should have fought him at 126." It's the same way Barrios was much bigger than Tank, and they still tried to articulate that he was a weight bully and that Barrios was a nobody. So it doesn't matter. Like people keep thinking it really matters about the competition. Tank is black. I keep saying Tank is black. That's all they need. So whoever he fights is never been an issue. Just like Charlo, Jamal Charlo clearly has
and it's not just because he black. He black and popping.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jamal Charlo has fought better opposition than Saunders, Bo Smiths, Caleb Plant, and all Canelo's other opponents. The only common opponent they got that's better than anybody Charlo fought is Canelo, and they all famous because of that L. But Jamal Charlo fought better opposition. Jamal Charlo fought better opposition than fucking Benavidez. But people don't say that. They just move the criteria around. It's just like what y'all were talking about with Inoue. If you want to put Inoue on the pound for pound list based on some criteria, okay, cool. But keep the criteria consistent. Oh, okay, Inoue is pound for pound because he's unified and has 3 belts. Cool. You just kick Lomachenko off the list because Lomachenko has no belts and 2 L's. So you got to keep it consistent.
But this is the thing. Inoue was on pound for pound in 2016. Before he unified, remember he just unified against the old Donaire, right? And Donaire was old. He was like 36, he's like 38, 39 now, whatever the case may be.
He barely made it out that shit, man.
And Donaire broke his eye socket. So you judging this guy about performances, and you say that's his best win, but then you have the same people who say that's his best win. Those same people are saying Donaire was old and shot and overrated and things of this nature. So, again, the criteria doesn't exist. They don't want it to exist because they have an agenda. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are followers. There are a lot of people, who are brainwashed. You know what I mean? And all they do is regurgitate these talking points without actually judging fighters. Because even with Loma, Loma was number 7 pound for pound when he was 6-1. Where they do that at? How does that happen? Make that make sense. You can't make that sense. You know what they say? Off the eye contest, he was doing things that we've never seen before. But when we say everything about other people who have the eye contest, when we talk about Boots Ennis, he passed the eye contest. Tank definitely passed the eye contest. But no, there is no but. You have different criteria for people like Loma and it was all race based. But then you say, and then you want to wait to his record age out. You want to wait till he get over 20 wins to try to justify it, because you can't justify it. Even Richard Schaefer said, how are you going to be 11-1, never fought a credible opponent, and then all of a sudden be pound for pound number one? It can't be. 9-1 as number one pound for pound and never fought a top level opponent. That just doesn't work. So all I'm saying for people, or whether the panel, whether people who are listening, whatever the case may be, make your own judgments. Do not allow these fake, fraudulent propaganda, artificially anointing pound for pound lists. Make your judgment on who you choose. That's a good fighter and that's a bad fighter. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's no consistency. There's no objectivity. Everyone that they rate highly, it's literally based off the eye test. They'll like even right now, I'm going back and forth on Twitter with, I think, fucking Vivian's burner, because he's like, oh, I'm rating Beterbiev off the eye test, and I'm like, I can't do the same thing with Brown. And then it's funny because people don't understand. Going along with the consensus doesn't really mean you know boxing. It means you just pick the popular opinion. Most of these motherfuckers won't even make.
Told them.
Yeah, most of these motherfuckers don't even make their predictions public until after the fight, so they can try to go clown somebody. But the thing about it is that I'm like, most of you had Teofimo beating Kambosos,
while Artman had George Kambosos winning.
Exactly.
Said, oh, nah, Artman, you don't know shit. But hey, it is what it is.
Y'all know what I said. Y'all knew I had my money on Kambosos from the beginning. I was, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and I'm one of those people that picked Teofimo to win, just because I thought that Teofimo's power would win the day, and it almost did. But Kambosos did enough work to keep Teofimo off of him and have him worried about getting another knockdown, especially that late in the fight. So I was completely wrong, and I owned up to it. I was like, you know what? I was off on that one. I had Teofimo winning by split decision, and it turned out just the opposite. But then when I picked Brown over Beterbiev, all of a sudden it's, oh, I'm crazy and I don't know boxing. It's like Kambosos and Teofimo was a much bigger upset than Brown versus Beterbiev would have been. So I'm because Teofimo had all the fucking advantages. He had the better resume, he had the size, he had the power, and Kambosos still beat him. So, whereas this is a fight where Beterbiev is supposed to, this is a fight where Brown is supposed to come in and just lose. But I just, I picked the underdog because it's a little closer than that, and because Brown had been in with superior competition. But I find it funny that go ahead.
My apologies, sir. I just, before this guy get away, and I just wanted to just bury him real quick. I'm sorry, my apologies. This guy. Listen, I'm going to put you in the grave today, Jay Perez.
Who is this dude?
Jay Perez. He's saying Gary Russell Jr. And Walters weren't opponents. First of all, that was Gary Russell Jr.'s first level, so he wasn't even a B level at that time. That's the first time, his first championship fight. He wasn't getting any type of airtime and things like that. So no, you knew nothing about him. So how can he be with that lack of experience be considered a top level opponent at that particular time? And Walters, you only talk about Walters as a Loma opponent. You never talk about Walters at any other time. You never watch Walters fight. You never have him up in any other discussion versus any other fighter except for Loma. So the only time you guys bring these guys up is because they lost to Loma. Other than that, you wouldn't have anything else to say. Gary Russell Jr. is a very talented fighter, but again, when he fought Loma, when Loma was 1-1, and again, that was a split decision. Okay? And either way, again, Gary Russell Jr. was not considered a top fighter at that time because you didn't know who he was. So please stop it. You're buried, okay? I want you to take you stay in your grave, sir. I destroyed every argument you have. You have nothing but talking points. That's why you will always lose to me. Okay? Thanks. I'm sorry. You continue, sir.
Well, no, I give Lomachenko some credit for Gary Russell because it was only a majority decision. He couldn't convince every judge that he actually won the fight, and Gary Russell knocked his ass down. It was a good fight, but I give him some props for that. Walters was fucking nobody, and still is to this damn day. Walters got one lucky win over fucking Donaire and literally lost to Lomachenko and disappeared. So Walters wasn't shit.
Yeah, Walters.
Artman already explained.
Not the same.
Artman already explained, what was going on with Walters. So, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But even from a skill level perspective, without the political shit, Walters wasn't shit.
He catching bodies on YouTube and Twitter.
Walters wasn't shit. Just like Jason Sosa wasn't shit. Just like fucking, they like to say, oh, once Canelo beats you, you're not the same fighter. Okay, then Pedraza wasn't shit for Lomachenko. So a lot of his resume wasn't fucking shit. Again, people only give him credit for belt snatching.
Just a bunch of leftovers, just a bunch of sloppy seconds and nobodies. You know what I'm saying? That's like you fucking a Robson.
We all know about sloppy seconds. If you're a teenager, who go first anyway? But
literally, like Nakatani is like another Luke Campbell. He's one of those dudes that's rated for losing. Nakatani only got national attention because he lost the fucking Tiafimo. That's it. Nobody was looking at Nakatani. Nobody rated him.
Listen, and if Tio didn't fight Loma, you still wouldn't be talking about Nakatani.
Literally, Nakatani only rated because he got beat by some people. Just
and
like
Luke Campbell, same thing. Ryan gets credit for Luke Campbell because Luke Campbell lost to Loma. I'm so sick of you guys who think so low like that. Luke Campbell has lost every step up fight he's ever had, and the fact that he lost to Ryan Garcia, and that was a horrible fight for both. I mean, that was just, I didn't see, that wasn't no skill. Even that knockout, it was a body punch, good body punch, but it wasn't like a spectacular. He had a delayed reaction and he dropped. It ain't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't no highlight reel knockout. It wasn't anything in that fight that showed me that neither one of these dudes belong on the stage. Cruz is better than both of those guys, period. Barrios is better than both of those guys. Leo Santa Cruz is better than both of those guys. Now, the funny thing is they say Leo Santa Cruz didn't do nothing, but yeah, he gave Tank such a great fight. Leo Santa Cruz performed very, very, very well. He showed great accurate punching. Again, he's the number one not power puncher. He's the number one volume puncher. Yeah, he's the number one volume puncher in boxing and the most accurate volume puncher in boxing. But you guys don't want to give him credit because it's Tank, but you guys want to give Walters credit. You guys want to give Luke Campbell credit. You guys want to give all these guys, Nakatani and Comey, credit. Please.
They gave Warrington credit.
With that.
They gave Warrington credit for beating Santa Cruz, and they were trying to say that Warrington could beat up Gary Russell. And it's funny because people want to talk about who don't know boxing. Nobody picked Lara to stop Warrington, but it fucking happened. Stopped his ass fucking cold.
Hey, you guys, I don't know if someone's deleted his message, but Rick Marino, you can call me a bum. I don't have no problem with insults, sir. No, meet me on Twitter. I'm not going to insult you on my brother's live, but meet me on Twitter, and I got a grave for you. All right. But listen, I have no problem if you want to insult me. I'm not sensitive at all. Okay, so. Admins, moderators, if guys insult me, let's let it rock. Because I'll catch them on Twitter.
And it's just like when people talk about when people talk about Usyk and they say that he's that Usyk is a cruiser version or heavyweight version now of Lomachenko, and I'm like, you know what? Y'all have no idea how true that is. If we look at Usyk's cruiserweight run, who was he fighting? Slow, plodding punchers, in addition to Tony Bellew and Michael Hunter. Because again, people conflate power and power application and pressure with legitimate boxing skill. Gassiev and Briedis show no definitive separation in the skill department. The only place they show separation is power. That's it. And I'm not saying that they're not skilled boxers also, but they were just simply not as good. They're not as good of boxers as Usyk, and the only chance they were going to have is a KO. It's the same when they both beat Dorticos. Now, Briedis barely beat Dorticos, and some say he lost, which I understand. But Gassiev, the only reason why he even beat Dorticos is because he got the knockout, because he needed the knockout. It's the same with fucking Canelo versus Plant. Reynoso was screaming at him in the corner because the nigga thought he was losing. He was like, "Bro, come on, you getting embarrassed out here. You put some fucking put some heat on it." And it's the same reason why Beterbiev came out swinging like a madman, because he was worried that if it went to a technical decision and they stopped it on the cut, he didn't have enough rounds in the bank to fucking win.
He said no black fighter can fuck. Marino, first of all, are you Mexican, sir? Because if you're Mexican, you probably have black DNA in you. I guarantee you have ancestors that came off an African slave boat. In addition, you had Native American ancestors who were enslaved by European conquistadors, sir. So don't get me with that black fighter, this and that. Don't get me with that racist stuff, because I'll tell you about your history and make you go cry in the corner. Right?
But why did Lomachenko duck a black fighter then? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Haney is trash according to a lot of people. He's got no chin and no power. Why did Lomachenko start politicking to get out of that? I don't understand.
I hate when people bring the racist element. Why can't fighters be? This is what Bob Arum has brought. Bob Arum is the architect of the racial segregation in boxing in the 90s when he started promoting Oscar De La Hoya. Before that, again, the world champion Mike Tyson, the world champion Sugar Ray Leonard, the world champion Roy Jones Jr., the world champion Muhammad Ali, because they were great fighters. It had nothing to do with racial elements. So for whatever reason you guys want to bring race into it, I don't know. Maybe you feel insecure. Maybe you feel so inferior that you're so proud that someone is a champion that's not black that all of a sudden you want to say, "Ha, now we're getting some get back." It's not about that. Because if you're a Mexican or Latino or European or whatever Asian fighter and you're great, I'm going to acknowledge your greatness. Manny Pacquiao is in my top 10 of all time. I love Manny Pacquiao for what he brought to the game, period. Never turned down a fade, fought everybody with heart and guts and desire. You know what I mean? So again, I don't judge my fighters based on black. I have my favorite fighters based on style. You know what I mean? If it just so happens most of them are going to be black American just because of the style they fight. I like that slick boxing. I'm not into the Mexican style fight. I'm not into the rock'em sock'em robot hitting people and no defense. That's just not me. I love the skill, what they call the sweet science. That's what motivates me. That's what gives me the passion for boxing. So therefore, I can recognize certain people. And Leo Santa Cruz, even though he's a valiant puncher, that dude is a good boxer, period. That's why I like Leo Santa Cruz. But I notice a lot of you guys like to bring a racial element, and it doesn't make any sense. So if you want to do the race thing, how about do it someplace else? Go to hockey or something. If you don't want to see black, well, now there's a few black people in hockey. Stick to golf. Do something that you don't have to mingle with people of different ethnic and nationalities, if that's your thing to be racist. Because I'm not a racist person, and I'm not even here for your racist talk. But keep it to boxing.
But like I always say, like our man was talking earlier about how he might actually get some face-to-face time with David Morrell and stuff. I'm like, bro, when you look at the channels that these people actually watch, none of your favorite fighters make appearances. They do not fucking like you. They think you're disgusting. Like if Canelo met most of his fans, he would fucking vomit. If Tyson Fury might get along with you in private, but he'll never be seen on camera with your ass. He never goes to your YouTube channels. Beterbiev don't care about you. Lomachenko don't care about you. Usyk don't care about you. Your favorite fighters don't like you, bro. They do not care about you. They think you're fucking weak and stupid. Like I said, Alantes Fox was on Southern T show. Blu-ray comes on. Errol Spence talks to Champ Side. Wilder goes on 78 Black Fight Fan. Malik Scott was on Art Man show. I'm like, dude, our people come out and talk to us. Your people don't even want to fucking associate with you because you're garbage. You're disgusting, bro. They don't want to be associated because their brand would suffer from being associated with you. Like, look at Lalo bitching on Twitter talking about, I hope in 2022 me and Canelo might be in the same gym. Dude, Canelo fucking don't want to be associated with that nigga publicly. He been knew who he was. He probably likes him, but he's like, shit, if I associate with this garbage motherfucker, my brand will take a hit. So they don't even like y'all, bro. They don't even like you enough to endorse you publicly.
I had Michael Fox on my channel in the past.
Yeah, man. And that's what I'm saying. You guys are fucking
These races
disgusting.
are ignorant. It's like you lack something in your own home. You look at Black Americans and you feel inferior for some reason that where you have to outwardly talk against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe some black dude named Willie had your girl and did something to her you could never do. I don't know. But for whatever the thing is, you guys bring in a racial element to boxing talk. It's not only disgusting, but it just shows your own insecurities in life. And you're doing fake tears. I bet you're not even cracking a smile. You're doing Rick Marino. You're doing these fake smiling, but you're not even laughing. You're crying inside because you're talking about black and white. You're not talking about boxing. You're not talking about the historical aspects. You're not talking about skill. So how do you feel? The only thing that you bring into the boxing chat is racial elements. That makes me think that you have achieved nothing in life. You've never traveled the world, and you don't have any friends other than anyone who look like you because they won't associate with you because you bring nothing to the table. You're intellectually inferior, and you just cannot hold a conversation without bringing race into it.
Oh my God! Look at what y'all see. What's happening on Twitter with Beterbiev? Now they're trying to compare him with fucking goats. I'm like, oh my God, oh my fucking God! Off of a Brown win, I
Yeah,
thought
they
Brown
said
was
better be
trash.
bored.
They're
Yeah,
talking
man, I
about,
saw that. Hey, did you see that fucking tweet? Y'all see that tweet where it said, well, better be would have stopped Andre Ward. Man, Andre Ward would have
oh
styled on
my
that nigga.
God, fucking yeah. Now we're talking about, oh, he beats Ward. If Mayweather came up, it's like, dog, what
Why
the
the
fuck are we
fuck would
talking
Floyd
about?
come up? Are you dudes dumb? Why would he come up from 147 to 175, a weight
But
that he probably
hold
would
on.
have been on his off time?
But
And
hold
dude, these
on,
dudes
wasn't
don't know
Marcus
boxing.
Brown
They're
trash?
retarded.
But wasn't Marcus Brown trash just yesterday? Wasn't he trash yesterday? But today, all of a
Doesn't
sudden,
Marcus
Marcus
Brown
Brown.
don't hey D, don't these guys take bigger shits than Marcus Brown hits or some shit like that? That's what these
Yeah,
Right.
dudes do. They shit, and this is why their fighters never get credit because they shit on their opponents all the time. You don't see Canelo shitting on his opponents. You don't see Earl Spence shitting on their opponents. You don't see Tank shitting on his opponents. These guys don't shit on their opponents. You guys do. It takes away credit from them, and they don't realize that, and it's retarded.
Yeah, they make Beterbiev looking like shit. I'm like, bro, so you still saying this man ain't fought nobody? That's a bad look. I'm saying I'm giving Beterbiev his respect, and he's like, oh, Marcus Brown was trash. I'm like, oh shit. So okay, so I guess the nigga need to fight somebody then. That's why. It's funny because they say that Andre, Tank, Haney, Charlo, they're all just undefeated because they fought no one. But Beterbiev the truth. All right, nigga. Okay,
Get the
all
fuck out
right.
of here.
Now Beterbiev has two good names on his resume.
Yeah, he
And
got
fucking Gabaj didn't fight anybody really either. So
literally. Gvozdyk is only famous for knocking out a 40-year-old Adonis
Adonis
Stevenson.
Stevenson.
That's it. If Adonis Stevenson was 5 years younger, fucking Gvozdyk would have got laid smooth the fuck out.
Yeah, he would have gotten killed.
It wouldn't even been competitive. Fucking Adonis Stevenson was damn near like, if I had to compare him to someone, I would compare him to like the southpaw light heavyweight Tommy fucking Hearns. You know how many people, you know how many victims he has with that damn laser left? Man, he would have put Gvozdyk to goddamn rest, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
man. I hope
remember. I think it
Adonis is
was.
okay.
Yeah, he's
I
fine.
remember. He knocked out. I think it was. Didn't he knock out Chad Dawson?
Yeah, he
Uh,
did.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
think
remember that. I remember that shit. Boy, that shit was so cold, man. Oh my god, bro. That knockout. It was so crisp. Like that he. Yeah, and you guys are right. Like getting these old, washed up names on your resume is not the same
said
as
Bottle
when these
Jack
guys
beat
were
Stevenson too.
in their prime.
Well, I
Shit.
mean, Badu Jack got a draw, but you know, a lot of people think Badu Jack won.
And I bet you he was closer to his prime then.
Yeah, absolutely. And Badu Jack was a fucking, people think because Badu Jack is kind of old now, but I'm like, that's the difference. Like all your favorite fighters when they're on drugs and shit, yeah, they don't age like everybody else. But Badu Jack, I mean, he was on the run. He beat some names at 168. Fucking Lucien Boutte, fucking. I thought he beat Jean Pascal. That split decision was capped, in my fucking humble opinion. But
Yeah,
you
he
know, he
beat him.
beat and he beat Anthony Durrell, George Groves. Everyone hypes up Callum Smith off George Groves, but don't give fucking Badu Jack his respect. Ain't that a bitch? They're like, oh, but he beat George. Callum Smith beat George Groves in the fucking in the damn Super Series when Badu Jack beat him earlier. Fucking George Groves. Callum Smith was George Groves' last fight before his fucking retirement.
Callum
That's
Smith
tough,
was a
man.
stiff. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw. I don't know if you well, I Moonshine and even Dan Raphael. So these guys going to chime in, and was the Moonshine. They were saying something. They was saying that Benavidez didn't bring anything to the table, right? So I was like, okay, well, if Benavidez didn't bring anything to the table, what did Rocky Fielder bring to the table? So these guys told me, I'm telling you, all of these guys, I put it up in lights for them too. They told me that Rocky Fielding brought the WBA to the table and that Rocky Fielding was a better fighter than uh what's the,
He brought a Reggie belt too.
Montiel. right? And I'm like, well, first of all, what does this have to do with Montiel? Shouldn't we be sticking on the merits of what did Rocky Fielding bring to the table? Since you guys are saying that David Benavidez doesn't bring anything to the table, yeah, that same WBA World title that you guys call regular, the same one that Tank has that you said that Tank does not have it. So Dan Rafael is going to say, I agree. So I say, well, Dan, so how you agree? So you agree that that Rocky Fielding was a better opponent than Montiel, because he had the WBA title, but this is the same title that you guys that says that is not legitimate for Tank. You know what I mean? So you're saying that Rocky Fielding was a better opponent than choosing his IBF mandatory Devchenko, his WBC mandatory Charlo, and WBO Andre for undisputed. So basically, Canelo chose to fight Rocky Fielding, then fight for undisputed. But y'all want to praise that, man?
Yeah, like I said, I'm cool with all the dick suckery. You just got to keep the criteria consistent about who get their dick sucked versus who don't. Because again, like literally, you got people using the same logic back at you, acting like it makes some fucking sense. They're like, oh, well, like it's just like with the Teofimo Cambosa thing. I'm like, oh, you had Brown beating you had Brown beating Beterbiev, you're an idiot. And I'm like, okay, you had Teofimo beating Cambosa. Oh, well, that's different, nigga. Shut up. Shut the fuck up, bro.
The inconsistency is just what gets me, man. And these people just eat it up. You know what I mean? You got these people like this Marino dude. I've never seen him a day in my life, but you got people like this eating this propaganda up. How does that make you feel that you can't have a brain for yourself, that you depend on these propaganda media, artificially anointing fighters for you to jump on a bandwagon? When the last time have you saw a fighter who was 6-0 who gets no shine, but you say that guy's legit, I'm going to pump him? That's the same thing I did with Boots. It's the same thing I did with Tank. With Tank was 7-0, and the same thing I did with Gary Antoine Russell, because I recognize talent before it gets the opportunity. You guys only jump on what names are being spoken. Just because someone has a name does not mean they're relevant when it comes to boxing. Ryan Garcia, to me, is irrelevant at 135. You guys talk about him, they want to say he's this and he's that, but fighting a Luke Campbell does not make you relevant. Okay, period.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that Lomachenko, you were talking about Inoue's spot on the pound for pound list. Lomachenko earned his pound for pound spot at number 7 right after the Gary Russell win, and I'm like, but Gary Russell's never been ranked. It's the same as how Tyson Fury earned his spot off of Wilder. It's like, wait, hold on, but everyone just said Wilder was trash. Now all of a sudden Tyson Fury's pound for pound? Like, it just make a little bit of sense at least.
There you go. You hit the nail on the head. They said Deontay Wilder was nothing. He's the worst fighter. Everything. He's wilder. He's wild. This and that. But yet you make how could Tyson Fury fight the worst fighter in boxing, but all of a sudden now he's pound for pound? Doesn't make sense. Let's keep this consistent, guys.
And does Estrada? Because I know Estrada has one franchise belt. Does Estrada even have like a legitimate strap? Or, oh no, he has the fucking WBA Super. Okay, I was about to say, like, because Estrada on the pound for pound list for, I don't think Estrada has he been in multiple weight divisions? Yeah, okay, yeah. So he's been in 3 different weight divisions, but he only has one fucking belt, and somehow he's maintaining his spot on the pound for pound list with losses. So I'm just like, where the fuck do we draw the fucking line here? Because he has the WBA and then he has the franchise. So it's like, where the fuck do we draw the line here?
Now they got this Japanese guy, a new Japanese guy on the pound for pound I've never heard of in my life. Yeah, he's got like 2 losses. Like, what are you guys thinking? Like, Kazuto Ioga, 27-2, 15 KOs, but Ring got him on their pound for pound, man. This is a joke. The fact that Loma has no belt, first they said a pound for pound was for accomplishments. Well, Loma got 2 losses, no belt, so why is he still on pound for pound when he has nothing?
Yeah, Estrada got 1 belt, 3 losses, and he is somehow is maintaining a fucking pound for pound spot. People forget Triple G and Kovalev were pound for pound number. Ooh shit, Zelfa Barrett going off. People forget that Triple G was pound for pound number 1 at one point. Man, been in the same division his entire career, had accomplished damn near nothing for it. And this is before he fought fucking Canelo, by the way. So he was pound for pound off who? Jacobs?
Before he fought Jacob. No, he was pound for pound before he fought Jacob. Jacobs was his first real test. Jacobs was his first, I would say, B-level opponent.
Right. No, absolutely. In his whole career, he's only fought Canelo and Jacobs. Everybody else is trash.
And Deverenchenko beat him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He got a gift.
Yeah, exactly. And Deverenchenko isn't even that, isn't even that high up considering how late he got out the amateurs. So I'm like, people keep saying, oh, he's a one world, he's a one. I'm like, bro, Kovalev and Triple G both managed to be pound for pound number 1 at one point, despite never having moved in divisions and never having, and as soon as Kovalev stepped up, they got stopped.
Yet Jamel Charlo knocked out 3 champions in a row, and he's the ring champion, but he's not on your pound for pound list. Again, I don't subscribe to them, but I will tear them down. I love to tear them down because they're fake and they're fraudulent. And then, like I said, the only time these guys who are making these comments, that's the only people that they comment on. How about comment on a fighter that's not spoken in the news by these same ring people or same ESPN people? How about pick out a Mexican fighter we never heard of because you see skill and ability and natural talent and you think he's going to go somewhere? How about do that for a change instead of rehashing these same names that don't mean anything? If you bring up Walter's name again, I'm going to. I don't.
It's just funny.
You're going to get a. Go ahead.
It's funny because they disrespect a lot of their own people. Because, for example, if you guys go back and watch the Canelo Alvarez versus Plant undercard, if you look at Ray Vargas is an incredibly skilled featherweight. He's got like 30. He's got like 35 wins, fucking 20 plus knockouts, and don't get no respect from these people. Oh. Look at Julio Cesar Martinez. Man is a fucking goddamn I think he's the WBC champion at fucking flyweight, and he's a beast. And he would easily take out Sonny Edwards in unification. He don't get no respect. I'm like, y'all focused on one guy. Y'all focused on one fucking guy. And a lot of and keep in mind, a lot of these people's credentials only come from their ability to beat somebody black. That's pretty much it. It doesn't matter about fucking quality. It just comes from being somebody black. Like they call shit. Benavidez is a nigga slayer because he beat J. Leon Love and fucking old Anthony Durrell. Like, man, bruh.
Man, boxing used to bring everybody together, and now these guys use it to try to divide it. It doesn't make sense to me. If you love the sport, you love the sport. If you think Canelo will beat Charlo, I have no problem with you thinking that. No problem at all because it's your personal choice. But when you start to tear it down, what has he done? What has he did to earn a fight? But then you let slide about the Yildirmans and the Rocky Fieldings and things of that nature. That lets me know that you're not interested in the best fighting the best. Okay? Because if you say Loma will beat Tank, great, you have the right to feel that way. I will never argue about what you think. But when you try to tear down a fighter based on his resume for you to say this is why, then you're letting me know that you're not really into the sport of boxing. Because if anybody can't recognize Tank's generational skill and what he's bringing to boxing right now, then why are you talking? Why are you talking boxing? Because you're actually ignoring the quality fighters out there.
Yeah, and check out this bullshit for the fucking Keith Thurman Mario Barrios card. Abel Ramos is fighting Josecito fucking Lopez, somebody that already had 4 losses when Canelo fought him, and I don't know how many losses he has now. But this is the bullshit I'm talking about. Josecito Lopez should be fucking retired, and Abel Ramos should be sacrificing himself to somebody like Boots. But meanwhile, these garbage niggas fighting each other. Ain't nobody shitting on Abel Ramos. Well,
yeah,
he
Abel Ramos, he's good.
Yeah, Abel Ramos is solid. What? Because he lost to Ugas, he deserves some rest. Nah, nigga, fuck that. You need to get in there and get your ass above the in them rankings. You need to get your ass high up in them rankings to try to get another title shot. And how you do that is beating Boots.
Oh, did you guys hear Duran Ennis? He's back in he's back in training camp for his fight coming up soon.
Who are we fighting?
I'm not so sure, honestly. I think there was like rumors stating that he should be fighting. Man, I don't.
I hope it's Blair Cobbs, to be honest.
To me, I think what the fight that makes the most sense would be Blair Cobbs or possibly go after maybe top 10 welterweight, maybe. Oh man, fuck man, I don't even know honestly because
Top 10s don't want none.
He need to go against Blair. That's what I want to see.
yeah, Blair
Yeah,
Cobbs would have
I
to be
need I need him to shut these people the fuck up talking about Blair could do something. No, stop. And then
Well,
after
shit,
Boots,
I want to see it.
yeah, and then after Boots knocks him out, guess what people gonna say? Boots still need to fight someone. He just fought a bum. Exactly.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say that.
I know I'm not talking about you, but I just want him to get this shit out the way. Go ahead and cook this nigga so we can move on with our fucking
Yeah,
lives.
that's what we want. This is a little filler fight. We not, bro.
But I mean,
that's the thing. It's just a little filler fight. He can afford to take a fight like this. It's not like
Yeah, he ain't take no damage. He ain't take no damage against DeLorme. He smoked that dude so fast, nigga tried to file a lawsuit.
I said he should have been on Tank undercard.
I was gonna say he could fight Blair and then he could wait for the IBF or whatever title eliminator that he has to fight, and then he wins that fight, and then he just goes straight after like Errol Spencer, Bud Crawford's belt.
He needs to try to force Virgil Ortiz to do an IBF or WBO eliminator. He needs to try to politic that in.
Actually,
what's up?
You guys might be
Ortiz versus Boots. Ortiz wins. He just capping. He's not even serious.
Ortiz don't even think he wins. Stop it.
You guys may think I'm crazy, but I think Jaron Ennis could fight Errol Spence next. I think. Mainly because I don't know if you guys heard the other day that Crawford turned down the Errol Spence fight. Or
wait, what?
Yeah. Crawford said something as far as the fight is no longer in my interest. This is just me paraphrasing, but
again, oh my god!
I think I don't know if you got it confused from the last video, but he said that already.
This nigga Crawford, bro.
Yeah, because I heard from Blue Blood the other day stating that that Crawford said that he's not wanting to go after EJ anymore, and I guess
my fucking god,
he was just making up some crazy ass fucking bullshit, man. Like he was talking about 60-40. Saying that 60-40 is not enough in my favor, blah blah blah, and basically Crawford doesn't want EJ because that fight is irrelevant to him, and he doesn't need EJ, which obviously that's not even true because it's EJ doesn't need you, but you still talk about EJ behind your back, so. At the end of the day, if EJ can't make the fight with you, wouldn't it just make sense for EJ to just move on and just fight guys like Boots or Virgil?
Or honestly, to shit. I mean, people will call it a duck, but if EJ is not going to fight Crawford, he should just go on up to 154. And then because what the fuck? He's still struggling to make fucking 147 for whatever reason, as opposed to reaching his full potential, maxing out at weight for Crawford. And if Crawford is still on bitch mode, but it's funny because as soon as EJ goes up, everybody gonna say, "Oh, look, EJ ducking all of 147." They said Tank is ducking all of 135 by going up to 140. I'm like, what the fuck? So what is Ryan Garcia doing? Is he ducking all of 135? Because he ain't even boxing. So is he ducking all the boxing?
Yeah.
So that's what's gonna happen. But honestly, fuck it, man. I think if he's not really gonna make Crawford, just go on up to 154 and see what they're talking about. And if you got to whoop MAGA Mel's ass, then so be it, man. I don't give a fuck about it.
I just think if EJ's gonna come back, I personally wouldn't mind him facing Boots, but if it's just gonna be against somebody that's gonna be a good little tune-up or just to get warmed up, then I'm fine with it. And I'd say at that point, just probably go up to 154.
I don't want him to fight Boots, but I would like to see him fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. because Virgil Ortiz Jr. got all this hype on him. People saying that Virgil Ortiz Jr. will stop Spence and Crawford, and I'm like, okay, cool. So can we get it? Can we get the fights?
So wait, Errol should fight Virgil instead of Boots?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, just to shut Virgil up, and then maybe in the future he could probably fight Boots or just go up to 154.
after if the Crawford fight don't happen, he should smoke Virgil Ortiz Jr. and then go up to 154, and then anybody who wants on from welterweight can come up and get it.
Yeah.
But also it's a good fight because they're both Texas boys. Like Boots, people saying Boots ain't fought nobody. Virgil Ortiz Jr. deserves his title shot. Okay, cool. Let's just go ahead and run with that narrative then. So
who is actually Virgil fought to earn that what Boot didn't earn? So they're both in the same boat. To me, they're the same category.
I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna let the Ortiz fans be right. Go ahead, Ortiz fans. Let him fight Spence. Let him get his ass whooped. And then when he want to go back, he can fight Boots over a fucking vacant or something else. And he can get back-to-back ass whoopings. Y'all talked all that. Y'all talk all that shit. Talk about Ortiz. Yeah, no. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with that logic now. Y'all talked all that shit talking about Virgil Ortiz is this and that. Okay, cool. Let him go ahead and fight Spence. Let him get his ass whooped, and then he gonna have no choice but to deal with Boots in his next 3 fights. One of them, either if he gets a title off a bum or whatever, off a vacant. Okay, whatever. He gonna have to see Boots at some point. So it's cool.
I personally have no problem with Boots or Ortiz if they fight Earl. But my thing is, I have no problem with it. But people always like to, when you think about, the other fighters that they don't, well, what have they done to earn this? That's always the Canelo thing. What have they done to earn this? So my whole thing is, Virgil Ortiz has done nothing special as far as resume wise, and I don't care about that. If they fight, I'm there for it. But let's be consistent. Boots Ennis is 28-0 with 26 KOs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's proved himself, and he's proved himself to be elite in every fight he's had in the pro ranks. But yet, you guys give Virgil Ortiz this lofty ratings and rankings that you don't give Boots.
Yeah, and Virgil Ortiz is out in these streets openly ducking title eliminators. Management talking about we have no interest in fighting Avenesian. Well, then, nigga, who the fuck are you fighting? Because that was supposed to be a title eliminator for the WBC championship at 147. So who the fuck are you fighting? And honestly, it's funny too because instead of Porter, I really wanted Crawford to fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. Because boy, he would have hit the reset button on Ortiz Jr. whole career, and I wanted that to happen so bad, but unfortunately, Ortiz Jr. team has some sense. It was like, nah, hold up, let's get this green beans in, and then maybe we could see what Crawford talking about if the Spence fight don't happen, or we could talk about Spence because he's coming off a bunch of injuries. But now he's over here ducking eliminator, so I don't know who the fuck he plans on fighting. I don't think he plans on fighting Spence or fucking Crawford. But like I said, I hope to God it's Spence next because I'm telling y'all.
I was just gonna add it to say I would have my Virgil facing off Abel Ramos, or maybe I don't know if you guys can agree, maybe Cusio Clayton or maybe Sergey Lipinets.
Well, Sergey Lipinets went back down to 140.
Lipinets. You mean what to try to see how he does against Lipinets versus what Boots did against Lipinets?
Yeah, I think maybe.
I don't know.
Went back down to 140. So he's no longer in the division.
Yeah, so like maybe he would like Conor Benn or
yes. I would love to see that. I would love to see that fight. Their styles mirror each other.
I would say I would love to see him with Conor Benn because again, I think that's another situation where it's not gonna go the way y'all think it's gonna go. I'm not gonna say that Virgil Ortiz Jr. can't win, but it's not like people think that right now Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Conor Benn is a shutout. Ortiz stops him, and I'm like, okay.
Nah, right. He can give him some problems.
I mean, I have Virgil Ortiz Jr. being able to win, but
Well, I want to see Boots versus Ortiz or Conor Benn. Give me that fight, please.
No, I don't want to see Boots versus Conor Benn. That shit's fucking child abuse.
No.
Hey, but I see. I like Conor Benn. I do. He's my favorite. He's actually my favorite UK fighter. Now, if they're gonna fight now, or if they're gonna fight when one of them get a belt, fine, I'll wait. But I just can't. Whenever they fight, I just want to see two, you know what I mean, two hungry lions, skillful hungry lions fighting each other. Now, of course, I'm gonna have Boots as the winner, but I see Conor Ben and Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz Jr. I see them as mirror. When I see one fight and see the other, they possess the same type of qualities in the ring, and that fight, I want to see that fight happen.
Yeah. Has Virgil Ortiz Jr. ever like knocked someone unconscious, like one punch sleep?
No.
Yeah, see, like people be talking about power, and you know they have misconceptions. Like people like Gassiev have actually knocked people out with one punch. Wilder, Tank, like these are like even Usyk has one punch slept somebody. Virgil
Errol
Ortiz, people,
Spence.
yeah, yes, absolutely. People like fucking Triple G, Benavidez, Virgil Ortiz Jr. These guys are accumulation punchers, or they stop you to the body or something. They're not vicious fucking KO punchers. Conor Ben has shown that he got that one punch eraser, albeit it was on an Algieri, but still. But still. So that's just showing
It was
you.
pretty. It was pretty, but I knew Algieri wasn't gonna last. I knew it was just Camden fodder. You know what I mean? I was tweeting about. I was like, this fight is not gonna end well. This is a KO waiting to happen, but it happened. It was pretty. One of the KOs of the year. So good for him. But yeah, Ortiz versus Ben. Let's make that happen. Let's spam Eddie Hearn to make that happen. They both zone fighters.
Exactly, and I know Eddie Hearn. I mean, because they don't need that much money for those two. Eddie Hearn got to try to empty the bank. Got to try to empty the bank on Haney versus Kambosos, because Aram said he not thinking he gonna pay Lomachenko, or he trying to get Kambosos, which I'm not sure if that's really real or not. I don't see why Aram wouldn't cough up some bread for Lomachenko, especially as his popularity is skyrocketing again. But Eddie Hearn got to empty the bank on that one, and then break off some extra for Ben versus Virgil Ortiz, because people don't want to mention it, but during the pre-fight buildup, Conor Ben said Virgil Ortiz Jr. name multiple times with confidence, and I was like, oh, and that was before he even fought Algieri, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he
can contend.
Yeah, he getting kind of buck. He getting kind of buck with it. So I'm like, okay. So shit, apparently they must know something we don't know over there at the Conor Ben camp. They must know some shit that we didn't know. And as we saw, they've been working on something over there.
Yeah, I just don't like how Conor's energy switches up on Boots, but for some weird reason, he has all
What was his Boots energy? What was his Boots energy?
Boots don't give a fuck, man. Boots said, I'm ready for Spence, Crawford, fucking everybody.
No,
Boots crazy.
But did he say something directly towards Boots' way or something?
He just didn't really give that much focus on Boots, and he tried to make it seem like he doesn't need to fight them or fight him in particular, and Virgil,
okay.
Like
I thought he said something that I missed.
Like basically, what I'm trying to say is his energy switches up on Virgil, where he has all this confidence to go out there and beat him, but when it comes to Jerron Ennis, he knows that he's gonna have to see him. If they ever meet each other at the top.
So, you said Conor Ben?
Yeah, Conor Ben.
Is that okay? Oh, you said so. Conor Ben has a different energy towards Boots than he does Virgil.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, if you ask me, everybody probably have that same energy towards Boots. That's why they kept him hidden. That's why propaganda media never talked about him. That's why he wasn't in their rankings. That's why he was way down, even though he had 24 wins, 25 wins, all these KOs, spectacular fashion. They never even talked about him because they had other artificially, people to propaganda to artificially annoy it. And Boots didn't fit the narrative. That's why he's been camped out on that MBF list.
Yeah, look at punk ass Thurman.
Who?
Yeah.
I said, look at punk ass Thurman trying to pretend Boots don't exist. Nigga, you saw that shit. Try to lie.
Well, Thurman did the same thing to Earl, Thurman told Earl, I don't need to fight you. Who have you fought? You ain't done nothing yet. Get a belt, all of this stuff. Oh, I don't need to. Then when he got a belt, I don't need to fight you. You're nothing, this and that. And now he's begging for a fight. You got to remember who you pass on the way up. You also got to pass them on the way back down. and that's Keith's problem.
Yeah, Keith Thurman trash, and honestly, I don't even care if Errol Spence don't fight him. Fuck him, let him starve, let him get his ass whooped. Because like I said, he might fuck around and get his ass whooped by Barrios up in here, and I don't think Keith realized that.
I'm actually picking Barrios in that fight. I'm gonna put some money. I've been losing some money on some bets lately, but I'm gonna put some money on Barrios for that fight.
Yeah, I haven't made my official prediction yet, but you know, it's a very winnable fight for Barrios. I'll say that. I'm not gonna throw away Keith's whole career because of one Pacquiao split decision loss, but it's a fucking very losable fight for Keith Thurman, which is why it's extra fucking stupid.
For me, it has nothing to do. I'm not even looking at the Pacquiao fight. If anything, I look at the Joselito Lopez fight, and I look at the fact that how Keith performs in his layoffs. So Keith has talent. Keith is the more talented, but he's been off for so long, that ring rust. He's got that Bangladeshi nest that he's laying up in. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the flute. You know what I mean? He's still on his honeymoon. You know what I mean? So his mind to me is just not that focused. And I think this is just like, okay, baby, let's go ahead and build our retirement nest egg. Because Keith knows he's going to go into the broadcasting and he's still going to make millions. You know, he's going to do the Tim Bradley, Andre Ward thing. So he know he got that. So I think his last foray into boxing, I believe he thinks he could beat Barrios because his big thing is the fight, is the fight Bud. That's his thing. So Barrios is supposed to be his tune-up to fight Bud.
And I think
he's going to get shocked.
And I don't want to hear Keith commentating either, because I remember during both of Errol Spence's Danny Garcia and Porter fights, he was like, "Oh, I got Danny Garcia beating him. He gonna stop him." And Porter is winning every round. It's like, nigga, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Are you just mad because Errol Spence didn't want to give you a pussy ass a fight now? Like, be quiet, Keith. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. Man, fuck Keith Thurman.
Yeah, Sean Porter on that bullshit too. Like, Sean Porter's like, yeah, I fought Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia has what it takes to win and potentially even stop Earl. It's like, dude, be quiet, fish mouth. Be fucking quiet. You know you just salty because Earl got on your ass. Just cut it out. Cut it the fuck out. Danny Garcia's not getting ready to do nothing with no fucking Errol Spence. Fucking turn Danny Garcia into fucking Mikey Garcia. Talking about, and it's funny too because they say that Errol Spence can get no credit from Mikey because he's coming up from 135. Well, Crawford coming up from 135 too. So if you fuck around and beat Crawford, then are we going to say that he's a weight bully? Are we going to just do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're like, he needs to fight, and I'm like, why? I mean, shit. I mean, I understand why they need to fight, but he's like, well, they need to fight. Well, Crawford's coming up from 135 too. So is Errol Spence a weight bully again? Are we going to do that?
I just can't wait to see these fights happen, brother. I just want to see this competitive
Crawford
fight.
happening at 47. I think that fight's happening at 54 or 60.
No, I think it happens. I only want it to happen for Undisputed personally. I've been saying this, and it's funny that a lot of people don't see it my way. They want it to happen now. They're not looking at what this does for boxing. They're not looking at the fact that boxing don't want to see Spence versus Bud for Undisputed, because it would be such a historic. It would be the first time a fighter had, going for a second Undisputed. You know what? This is the reason why the WBA is playing keep away hot potatoes with the WBA belt. Why? Because they want Usyk to fight Fury for Undisputed before Bud and gets the opportunity for it. So people don't see that, but it's running parallel. You know what I mean? Look at the landscape of what they're doing. Their move makes no sense except to delay that Undisputed fight, the second Undisputed fight for Bud, and then they would have to crown a true number one. Okay, so this guy got two. If Bud wins, he would have two Undisputed crowns at 135. At 140 and 147. And he would be the number one. If you were on, not me, but I don't have pound for pound list, but he would be number one on their pound for pound list. How can you deny, Bud that true number one over Canelo? And if Spence beat him, how can you deny? Bud has been number one on pound for pound list for the last few years. So how can you deny Spence if he beat him in good fashion? How can you say that's not the best fighter in boxing? And he's undisputed.
Well, also the WBA. I mean, also with the Usyk situation, the WBA did what they did up top because they heard that Wilder was thinking about fighting Trevor Bryan for Reggie, and they know that if Wilder would have beat up Trevor Bryan, which he fucking would, because Trevor Bryan ain't really shit. They knew if once Wilder smoked Trevor Bryan for the bread he was gonna get, and he had that Reggie, he could fuck up everything by petitioning Usyk to fight him, and that shit will go all kinds of left. So they were like,
Trevor
"Oh,
Bryan, Trevor Brown's from my area, out of Albany, New York.
oh, okay, my bad if you have any personal allegiance, but I
No,
mean,
no, 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 no. Like,
it's
I
Wilder
don't.
we're talking
Like,
about. Wilder's gonna light his ass up, bro.
no. Like, I personally believe Walter's gonna, eviscerate him, but
Yeah,
no, like, I mean, like, Trevor Bryan's like our one and only champion. So,
you know, shout out to Albany for Trevor Bryan. You know, he whoops Stavern's ass too. You know, he knocks Stavern out, and people forget that Stavern beat up Areola cleaner than Andy Ruiz did. Shit, Stavern was actually able to stop Areola, whereas Ruiz fucking struggled, damn near lost.
yeah, Trevor Bryan, he's a decent fighter. He's not the best fighter.
But I mean, shit, he been making decent money, and he's undefeated too. He's just been sliding under the radar, just chilling.
Yeah, I think he's just like waiting for like another big payday, and then he could just just keep stacking up wins.
Yeah, and Wilder would be his biggest payday, but they're bringing back their champion in recess, fucking Emmanuel Char, which
yeah, that's so stupid. Like,
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Yilderman type thing. I'm sick of all of these retreads, man. I like fresh faces. When you lose or you inactive that long, whatever the case may be, give somebody else another shot. There's some hungry lions that you guys keep away just to keep retreading these same names. Like Dylan. Listen, how does Dylan White get the title shot when he was just knocked out? He was just knocked out by a 41-year-old Russian. So,
rematch.
and even though he knocked him out back, yeah, but he won the rematch, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he was knocked out.
Yep.
Yeah,
So how do you go from losing to all of a sudden still gaining the WBC status? That does not make sense to me. When you lose, you got to start going back to the back of the line, or at least back to number 5, and you know what I mean, and let other people get their shots.
It's because
Dylan White is trash to me.
He is trash. Fuck Dylan White.
It's because they know that Dillian White doesn't beat Fury, but they were concerned that Charlo might have beat Canelo at 160, and they're concerned that Haney might have beat Lomachenko. So that's when it got political. But with Dillian White, they're like, oh shit, yeah, go ahead, let Fury get that glory. Go ahead, let him beat up Dillian White, and we can move on.
Agreed.
I just want to see Dillian White get knocked out. Fuck Dillian White, man.
Yeah, I want Wilder to catch that body. You know what I mean? Because think about this: Derek Chisora. Every time he has fought Dylan White, to me, he won the first fight, and the last one he was winning up until he got knocked out. So Dylan White has not proven, and Derek Chisora's got like 11, 12 losses, something like that. So Dylan White has not proved himself to be in the league. Every fight that he's been down against Parker, he went down against Rivas, obviously went down against Povetkin and AJ. So this guy has done nothing to separate himself that warrant this publicity that he's getting. And Americans would not even be speaking his name if Eddie Hearn did not interject him into every AJ Wilder conversation.
He's a lapdog.
Americans don't talk about him. We don't talk about Dillian Pussy White.
But that's the only way I know him, because Eddie Hearn was pushing him in when we were trying to get undisputed.
Yeah, he's only used in order to guard AJ from Wilder. If you look at it, that's all he's ever been used for. AJ and Wilder talks, and then here come this bitch ass nigga Dillian White.
I honestly would prefer that Dillian White beat Fury, because that would be funny as fuck. But you know, I don't see it outside of a lucky overhand wild shot. He just sleeps him. But that would be funny. Yeah, I'll admit I would prefer that. But you know,
That'd be funny.
yeah,
But I really do want Dillian White to get in there with Wilder so he can die in the ring.
Yeah.
yeah,
Get fucking knocked unconscious and
he
then
would get
just we
slaughtered.
stop hearing about him, just get slumped. You know,
Give
because
Walter beat the shit out of him.
Yeah,
he talks too much and he does nothing. He's done nothing. He's just literally just a gatekeeper. He'd be good for like one of these up and coming heavyweights to be. And really, he just get the shit beaten out of him by any of those guys.
yeah. Again, he's another guy that people get credit for just beating. He's a famous fucking loser. They needed him to prop up AJ, and they needed him to prop up Joseph Parker. Like, oh, Joseph Parker is this person because he beat. It's like, dude, you're a famous fucking loser. That's what you're famous for. You're famous for fucking losing. Like Gabe Rosado, Samuel Vargas, Adrian Granados. These are niggas that are famous for just losing to motherfuckers. It's just like how how are you rating fighters? Like these motherfuckers just lose. That's all they do is lose. Like even Chisora, he's a famous fucking loser. And honestly, I feel disgusted to say that I actually like watching Chisora fight because he makes shit rough and you know he makes shit rough and complicated. And honestly, I'll keep it real. If the nigga knew how to throw a jab or an uppercut, he'd probably be undefeated right now. Just keeping it honest.
I don't understand why fighters are being praised for losing, but for the ones that are actually good and you know they actually fight tough competition to stay undefeated, they call those fighters trash and they can't box and shit. It's like, isn't boxing about the sweet science? Like not about people just punching each other out to death.
Yeah, like Callum Smith. He's famous for losing to fucking Canelo now. George Groves was fucking famous for losing to goddamn Callum Smith because Badu Jack showed, like I said, Badu Jack didn't get no credit for beating George Groves. Badu Jack got no respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this shit is what it is, man.
Yeah, it's trash.
Tired of rating people off fucking L's, bro. Like shit. How much credit did Robert Easter get for beating the undefeated Richard Comey? Not a fucking ounce. He got no credit.
None.
And then how much credit did Tank get for defeating undefeated champion Pedraza? Still gets no credit. they say Loma beat Pedraza better. I'm like, what?
Listen, they say that Pedraza was Tank's best win. It wasn't Tank's best win in my estimation. I think the Barrios win, the Barrios win, and the Leo Santa Cruz win was better than Pedraza. For various reasons. Obviously, going up to 140, testing yourself for greatness, moving up 2 weight classes to fight a 5'10", 140 guy who was in the ring over 150. Tank showed his mettle in that fight. The Pedraza, it was his first championship fight, and he dominated him. let's call it what it is. But it was an undefeated fighter. But I people like to say that that's Tank's best win, and the only reason why they do that is to try to quantify that as far as for Loma, because Loma beat him. They want to say, oh, they got to be Tank's best win. But to me, the Leo Santa Cruz, the Barrios fights, those two were. And then obviously people like to look at the Isaac Cruz fight because it didn't get a KO. You got to look at it. Tank beat this very tough guy with a broken hand, and he beat him 8-4. And you know what I mean? So when I look at those stuff, like coming through the fire, Tank went through the fire for that. And he showed you know what I mean? I heard him in the corner. I heard him when they told him to do something. He says, my hand, they said, we know. But at no time did he threaten to quit. Who quit? What's the other? Rigo. When he hurt his hand, he quit in the corner because of his hand. There's been several fighters who quit because they hurt their hand. Tank didn't even make a face. Tank didn't even make a face. He just used what God had him, gave him left with the one hand. He just used his right, but you notice his most effective punches were those right hooks. He was hurting him with those right hooks. I saw he was backing him up with them right hooks. He was, you know what I mean? He was pulling them with them right hooks. So people only want to talk about his uppercut, but Tank got more in his arsenal.
Yeah, Oh, good. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say, yeah, a lot of casuals because of the Santa Cruz win seem to think Tank only has that one punch. I'm like, do you realize that that was one of the only times in which, I mean, Tank throws uppercuts, sure, but that was one of the only times where Tank has actually gotten a highlight reel knockout with an uppercut. All his other W's have been with something else. Like Pedraza was simply, one single right hook that ended that. Gamboa, it was just, it was a referee stoppage, but he threw a diversity of punches. Barrios, he stopped to the body. So it's like he has more than just a
Right.
damn uppercut. His only issue is that in that particular fight, he kept throwing it time after time after time, and it wasn't working, which eventually, caused some issues, unfortunately. But he's not just an uppercut. I'm not sure where people got that from.
They have the wrong. They think this guy is also all about power, and I kept telling people his footwork is amazing. It's elite. It's always been elite. His spacing, his balance. You never see Tank off balance. He get hit with clean shots, and Cruz hit him with. He was coming out the break. You know what I mean? He was backing up after he hit Cruz, and Cruz caught him with a hook. Tank didn't budge. Tank stood up, and you know what I mean, and continued to back out and reset himself. His balance is amazing, and that's why I tell people when I look at Tank's footwork and I look at Loma's footwork, Loma likes to. He stands straight up. You know what I mean? His feet are square a lot, and if you catch him, because he's off balance. And David Beterbiev does the same thing. He has the same habit of being square with his feet. If you catch Loma when he's square with his feet, come on, that's an easy knockdown. So if you catch him at the right moment. So when I look at Tank, I never see Tank footwork out of whack. I always see him the way he gallops toward to get himself set. It's a beautiful work of art. His footwork. People ignore that. They rather see Loma river dance and get moist, but they ignoring the level of skill that Tank brings with his fundamentals, with his footwork. You know what I mean? They say, oh, he gets hit a lot. How, you saying he gets hit a lot, but everybody who fights him, they get the lowest punch rate, you know what I mean, against Tank than they do anybody. You know what I mean? So he can bob and weave. He can do whatever he can. He chooses to take some. Sometimes he get hit. This is boxing. But his defense is great. When he's on his thing, he's on it. And they just don't give him the credit he deserves. And we know there's a couple of reasons for that. They want to discredit him just to keep him out of the pound for pound conversation because they want to continue to anoint Inoue and Loma and whoever else is up next. But the thing about it is, like I said, we saw Inoue get a broken eye socket. So how's that defense, buddy?
Trash.
You know?
But they'll say, oh well anyway, from a defensive perspective isn't that great, but it's just that his offense is just so overwhelming that it makes up for everything. The nigga gets hit. Cut it out. The nigga gets hit.
I fuck with Inoue heavy, man, and it's just like he'll go if he goes up to 122 and he fights Cool Boy will beat the shit out of him. Cool Boy gonna beat the brakes off Inoue. He's only gonna have a puncher's chance because Cool Boy does everything well. What's up, Karate?
Brandon Figueroa destroys him.
Nah,
I feel like he'll have a better chance against Figueroa than fucking Cool Boy.
Yeah, I think Inoue will punch Brandon Figueroa's fucking liver out.
Because he's taller and it's going to be easier for him to reach that body.
Well, that's the thing. Figueroa doesn't even fight tall. He gives up his height and his reach to get in on the inside. And you do that against Inoue, who has those T-Rex arms. That's your ass. That's like leaning. That's like bringing your chin down toward Tank. Like, why the fuck would you ever do that? Barrios at least had the sense to keep his chin away. That's why Tank had to stop him to the body. But you get that close to Inoue, that's your ass.
Yep. And just to bring it back to Tank.
I just want to see him fight somebody credible.
I mean, Donaire was cool.
Not somebody from,
But the nigga was 37 and had 5 losses.
Right, but that was my whole point. I'm not taking away from Donaire's career. He's got a career achievements, just like Kovalev. Kovalev had a career achievement, but at the time Canelo fought him, he had lost 4 of his last 8 fights. You know what I mean? So when you have this 50% loss ratio out of that number, that means again, Danny McBride beat Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Roy Jones lost to people whose names we can't even pronounce at the end of his career. So my point is fight somebody in their prime, and then so we can say, you did something great. I want to cheer for you. I love great boxers. Show me you're great. Show me how great you are. Don't just let people talk about how great
And
you
the
are.
thing
And
is,
I have yet to see him fight somebody that people consider, oh, this is a top guy in their prime. I don't want to see him fighting another 40-year-old.
the thing is, Check, is when you bring that up, they say you're hating or they try to discredit you for wanting to see the best fight the best in great matchups. You know, and it doesn't make any sense. These dudes are the ones that took Loma away from Haney. These dudes are the ones that kept Canelo away from Charlo and Andrade. These dudes are the ones that do that stuff. We don't do that stuff. If Boots want to get in
Oh,
there with
yeah,
Spence and Crawford, let him do it. If Virgil Ortiz want to get in there,
man.
let him do it. These dudes, they play protection squad. They don't believe in their fighters like we believe in ours.
Especially Virgil Ortiz Jr. because it's funny because people were saying that he ducking. People were saying that Spencer Crawford will lose to Virgil Ortiz Jr. But when Virgil Ortiz Jr. ducked the title eliminator, everybody was like, "Oh well, Albanesian ain't nothing anyway." It's like, okay, so go ahead and beat his ass. What the fuck is we talking about? Why? What you running from Albanesian for? But then they want to talk about, oh, Conor Ben refuses to fight Albanesian. Virgil Ortiz Jr. refused to fight the same guy. But
For
they
a
but they
title
don't count. But
eliminator.
yeah, but they're
I
saying
can't
Conor.
believe they scared. I can't believe they're scared of Avanesian. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, Albanesian because he got off on Josh Kelly ass a little bit. All of a sudden they're like, oh shit, we don't want to fight him. Da, da, da. I'm like, what's your excuse? It's a title eliminator. What is the reasoning? Oh, he didn't look good. He looked fantastic in his last fight. We whooping ass.
And I'll pick Virgil to beat him. I'll pick Ortiz to beat him, but looks like they don't want it.
And
Yeah,
Virgil, I think Virgil Ortiz, he's gonna get knocked out pretty soon.
you think he's gonna get slept? Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, I used to like him, but I just think his his like level of opposition is just gonna make him more exposed in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's A+ level fighter, but he's one dimensional, and I don't see Reynoso's camp being able to transform his style into anything because that's what style works best for his leverages. Like, what are they gonna do? Turn him into a fucking like an Oscar Valdez type where he backpedals the whole fight and he just tries to jab and then lets some hooks off when he stops short and then tries to catch you coming in? Like, that's not gonna work out well for Virgil Ortiz Jr. because at welterweight he's not the best boxer. He's not. He's a power puncher. He has very educated pressure, but at the end of the day, when it comes to boxing skills, he's not the best guy there. Like, again, people get power punching confused with actual boxing skill. I'm not saying that applying power is not a skill, but there's a difference between being a master of the fundamentals in boxing and being able to knock people the fuck out.
Yeah,
There's a big ass difference. Like, I talk about Subriel Matias all the time. Subriel Matias is not the best boxer. He's absolutely not at 140. But the problem is, if he catches you, you will go to sleep. You will go to bed. Like, Tank is a threat because Tank is a gifted boxer and he's a power puncher, and that's an extreme rarity. That's an extreme rarity. But Subriel Matias, he like I said, he doesn't have the greatest defense. He doesn't have boxing ability. But if he hits you, I don't care if you're fucking Josh Taylor. I don't even care if you're Tank. You will be in deep shit. You'll be in deep shit.
I was about to say his defense is pretty underrated at times because like Canelo Sports was talking about Subriel the other day, and he made a good point, stating that Subriel he only allows people to hit him because he doesn't respect the opponent's power, and I think it's mainly due to just walking the fighter down. But when he does see like a fighter that knows how to box, he actually displays like a better ring IQ in that fight to break you down late game, and then he goes further knockout.
Well, I mean, he did that shit against Jukumbayev, and he almost fucked around and got stopped. So
Yeah.
on the defense side of the game, he needs to get his shit together because Jukumbayev was getting on his ass. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
if he would have, And if he would have fucked around and took 2 more punches, he would have got put to rest.
Shout out to
So
my dude G5 and everybody in the chat. We just cooking, man. I'm getting ready to go to that Morrell fight, dude. I'm just politicking till then, dog. Man, look, if Fox get knocked out, that's gonna be bad, man. But if he does, it's gonna be lit because I got a couple casual homeboys that got tickets and we're all going to that shit. And I've been telling them that, man, he has potential to knock somebody out. Do y'all think he's gonna get the knockout tonight or what?
Morrell?
Morrell, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
This will be my first time seeing him. I don't know anything about the dude.
Morrell is very skilled and he has power. So,
But he only got 5 fights. This is what like y'all
Wait,
say.
Morrell
I
only
haven't
got
looked up
5
his
he's a
record.
world champion.
I thought that's what y'all said. I thought somebody said he only had 5 fights.
yeah, he does only
No,
have
no.
5 fights.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought he had more than
I
that.
don't know anything
No,
about
he
the
only has
guy.
5
This will be
fights.
my first time. This will be my first time watching him.
Oh, I got Hitchens.
So-
I got Hitchens winning because I don't know if Hawkins.
Oh yeah. I got Hitchens all day. It's gonna be a massacre if you ask me. I think D Hive think it's gonna be competitive. And do you think it's gonna be competitive, D Hive?
Yeah,
I don't mean to put words in your mouth.
No. I definitely think it's going to be competitive. Honestly, I've watched more of Hawkins than I have of Hitchens. I do think Hitchens has the speed factor. I personally think it's going to go to a decision more than anything. I definitely think it's going to go to a decision, especially because I think Hawkins is going to be more focused on defense because his last fight was a fucking knockout. I think psychologically that's going to, play a big factor in his
He
game
seemed
plan.
like he was ready in the weigh-in. He was arguing Hitchens and all.
Right, and that's a huge motivating factor, especially if what Czech is saying about the Mayweather politics is right. That's a massive motivating factor to want to stay on the fucking roster. So I do think it's going to be competitive for that reason. It's a 50-50 fight, honestly. It's a toss-up.
Yeah, that's. I was also gonna say even if Malik wins, Hitchens' career doesn't really affect them. It's just that
not at all.
Yeah, they're both fighting each other just to keep busy because
I mean, they both need it at this stage in their careers.
yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, shouldn't it be? This is on Fox. This is on regular Fox, right? Not FS1.
Yeah, PBC on Fox, FS1.
Yeah. Oh, it is on FS1. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. Never mind. I was about to say they jumped to main Fox instead of FS1. So, but like I said, I think this is a prove it or lose it type of deal. This is just my theory. No one told me anything like this, but this is just my theory, just based on what I've witnessed. So we'll see how it work out.
Yeah, definitely. I think that because don't get me wrong, Hawkins has had some defensive lapses, and like I said, if you can get on the inside on Hawkins, he doesn't do anything but shell up, and he's not quick enough to take a step back. But I think that given that his last fight was a knockout loss, and he can punch pretty good himself, I think it is going to be a competitive fight, and I think we are going to see a decision. Like I said, I haven't made my final pick yet. At first I was favoring Hawkins by MD, but I watched a little bit more tape on Richardson Hitchens, especially with the Arjudas Mendez fight, and I'm like, people are saying Richardson Hitchens by knockout, and I'm like, I watched that Mendez tape, and I'm like, I don't know. You talking about knockouts, and I'm just like, well,
I think he's chinny.
I wouldn't say he's chinny. I just think that he has, because Shakur Stevenson's a pure boxer, but he struggles on the inside with veteran tactics.
Yeah.
Mendez was using a lot of veteran tactics, and Hitchens was not reacting well. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, he was gonna stumble by those mean uppercuts and those body shots.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a toss up for me. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll stand on it. I'll be like, yep, I was wrong about that one. Called it bad. But
yeah,
no, go ahead.
No. I just think Hitchens, he's just a pure boxer, similar to Shakur in that light, and I think it's just too much of his amateur pedigree is still there. That's just going to get him exposed, at the higher level.
Yeah, I think like when they were talking about Malik Hawkins, Hitchens, and Warren, I think Malik Warren is better than both of them. Like
Who's
and
he?
Yeah, I
and
like Malik Warren.
Malik
I
Warren
don't see him enough.
because Malik
They're
Warren
not giving
himself
him
is only
enough.
had 5 fights. He's only had 5 fights.
Yeah, they're just not. They're not giving him enough because he's showing. I saw skill. You know what I mean? He's still rough. He's still growing. You know what I mean? But what I saw is enough to let me know that, you know what I mean? They move him the right way, build his confidence, give him the right type of fights. You know, he's going to grow and he's going to be, legit.
Who's
Yeah.
Malik Warren?
He's a new TNT fighter, fresh out the amateurs. And to be honest, if I could say it, he has kind of shades of Keyshawn Davis in there with a little bit more power, if you ask me. But that's just what I'm seeing out of 5 fights because him and Keyshawn are, they're both around 4 or 5 fights. And I'm like, hey, future, this could be someone that
Yeah,
might be
that's a
able to
good
fuck with
matchup.
Keyshawn. Yeah, Malik Warren versus Keyshawn Day, that could be some shit there. Although I forgot which weight division Warren fucking fights at. I forgot.
I think I've seen him fight before, but I just need to refresh my memory just to watch a fight out of him. Because I've heard of him, but I've just never got sold onto him.
Yeah, but TNT is they're trying to if he I think he signed to TNT. They're trying to expand their stable, which is good. I'm not saying that they shouldn't focus on Tank, but they should also try to expand and really compete for a lot of these other positions and publicity and stuff. Because look at Golden Boy. Golden Boy been fucking maintaining their records off of like 1 or 2 fighters every couple of years. Like all Golden Boy has is fucking Ortiz Jr. and Rashidi Ellis because Garcia appears to be a lost cause. So TNT got way more talent in that stable. They just need to maximize.
Yeah. I was also gonna bring up another fighter. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name is DeMichael Harris.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever seen him fight.
He's I want to say he fights at 130, but he's signed under Gervonta Tank Davis promotions, right?
Oh, okay. So Tank got a fighter himself. All right, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, check him out. I personally think he's a great fighter, but he's actually pretty good, in my honest opinion.
Okay. Well, we gotta see. We gotta see.
Oh,
But
have you guys also checked out that other fighter, Floyd Schofield, right?
wait, who?
Floyd, his name is Floyd Schofield. He's out of Texas.
I think I've seen one of his fights.
Yeah, he fights at 130, I believe, but he had history with Devin Haney in the past.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he's super duper good. I think he's obviously developing, and I don't think he's actually there yet until he gets up there with top killers at 130. But I think his potential, to be great is actually up there. So he's not far away from competing at the high level.
Right. Yeah. No,
So
that's cool. That's cool. At least he's not like a fucking someone like Blair Cobbs whose fame he got from copying Ric Flair and sparring Devin Haney. The motherfucker literally fights at welterweight. I'm like, bro, sparring Devin Haney is not impressive if you're fighting at welterweight. It's not. Devin Haney is gonna move up in weight at some point, but he's fighting at 135. It's like if there was someone at welterweight like Sean Porter. If Sean Porter had actually got the better of Tank in sparring, that wouldn't be impressive.
Tom
Like,
Porter versus Tank would have been a damn good fight.
yeah, but it's just like because I know they said that Tank got the better of him in sparring, which is cool and it's impressive for Tank. But if it was vice versa, that's not impressive. You're 2 weight classes above the motherfucker.
Yeah. Just as far as Blair Cobb's career, he doesn't really have that much traction left unless he wants to try to push for Jerome Boots Ennis. But
That's why he wants Boots. He's 31 with 15 fights, and he's almost been stopped by bums. He just wants to be famous off of a fucking loss like all these other people. He's like, shit, if Luke Campbell can be famous off a loss, so can I. That's all it is. He has no profile. And it's funny because Jerron Ennis and his father even said, dude, we whooped Blair Cobb's ass in sparring and made him quit. Like, why the fuck are we really about to fight him for real? And when we're trying to fight top dogs and we're over here fucking with Blair Cobb, he's like, dude,
And
we've
you
already
know
beat
that's
this dude.
and Boise Ennis said that's when Boots was 16 and Blair was like 20 something.
Yeah, he's like, bro, we've already been through this. I've seen Boots hurt this kid already. It's like this is a waste.
Because
And I'm
right now
like,
it'll be right now, D. It'll be, oh yeah, we'll Blair should Boots should fight Blair, blah da 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 da. And then after he beats him, it's gonna be like, oh well, Blair's nobody. He ain't nobody.
yeah,
He's 31. And he's not even in the top 10. That's how it's gonna be.
that's literally it. And people keep saying, oh, Boots is ducking. I'm like, ducking what, bro? He never said that Blair Cobbs couldn't get a fight. He said he's trying to target people that are better than Blair. It's just like when people say, "Oh, fucking Mayweather ducked Triple G by beating up a guy that beat him." It's just like when they say Cotto ducked Triple G by fighting Canelo. Like it just none of this shit is adding up. How are you ducking someone when you fighting people better than them? That makes sense.
The criteria changes based on who it is, though, D. You know.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like people say, "Oh, well, how can Canelo be ducking Benavidez?" Because Benavidez would stop everyone he fought. Benavidez would stop Callum Smith. Benavidez would stop all these people. Fucking Billy Joe Saunders, fucking Rocky Phil. Like he would stop these people. He would stop them.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for next weekend's fights. Honestly.
What the hell's next weekend?
Well, obviously, like I brought up the Vito Manecki thing, but
Oh right, that's I
yeah,
don't know how that motherfucker gets his own card, but whatever.
yeah, but there's actually like a couple fighters that I like that are fighting on that card. But shit, who else is fighting? I think there's a Showtime card that day too for Christmas.
Oh.
I'll actually take a look at it right now.
I'm watching this Parker versus Chisora card right now. They should be up next. It's
Jack
cool.
Cullen. Jack Cullen, he's a bum.
So who y'all got on that? Who you think? I'm thinking Parker. Who you got?
Maybe it's just because I want it to happen, but I think Chisora might fuck around and put Parker to rest this time.
Yeah, I think he's gonna probably.
But nobody's ever done that though.
I mean, nobody had ever stopped Leo Santa Cruz until they did.
Right. But
yeah.
I know, but what I'm saying is when it comes to Chisora, he's a heavy puncher, he's a thudding puncher, but he's not that type of KO artist. Look, the fact that he, again, Dylan White, he, didn't put him down, but Parker, to me, I think he's more skilled. Parker, my problem with him, he doesn't have that heart, that burning desire. He doesn't have that intense, competitiveness. He's too much of a nice guy. So he needs to, you know what I mean? Because he should have beat Dylan White. I think he was cheated in that fight, but you know what I mean? A lot of low blows, a lot of rep. I just think the judges were blind. So, but I'm thinking if he put all of his skill that he has towards everything Chisora has, I think Parker should come out with the win.
I only say that because Chisora already dropped Parker in the first one. Now, I know he got cleanly outboxed, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm saying that his only opportunity to win is by a knockout, and I think his team knows that already. I mean, maybe I'm just talking because I actually want Chisora to win, but because that would be funny, because I want to see Parker get knocked out for being a snitching ass, drug dealing ass bitch. But but like I have no legitimate dog in the fight. I didn't even want the fight to be fucking made because I think that they're both not even all that. But I'm hoping, I'll put it this way, It's not likely, but I'm hoping that Chisora wins by knockout, especially because he dropped him in the first fight pretty easily with just one overhand right in the very first round. Opening round, he threw one punch, knocked him down.
Well, I don't know. Parker definitely has the better boxing ability. Chisora has been down and knocked out by lesser, and I just think I don't know. I think at this stage, Chisora is, again, his name War fits him. He just like to go to war. He don't show a lot of skill. He just show, I'm just going to try to maul you and brawl you, keep the activity going and things like that. And I just think he's going to really wear down. I think the anxiety level is going to get to him, and he's going to burn a lot of that nervous energy up trying to get him out of there early. And I don't know. I see Parker pulling this off. And the thing is, Parker came in heavier this time. Chisora couldn't even get Usyk out of there. And Usyk had just came up from cruiser. So I'm thinking Parker's a more sturdier fighter. And I don't know. I think the extra added weight, he's probably preparing for this brutal match. And we'll see how it goes. You know, you're picking Chisora. I'm picking Parker. You know, we'll see what happens.
Hey guys,
if y'all notice, I never have any issues with who people pick. You can't argue who someone's going to pick. You know what I mean? I just like, because once the fight happens, hey, you know, it'll be settled.
You gotta
I want both of those motherfuckers to retire more than anything. I'm really tired of looking at both of them fight. But I just hope Parker gets laid out for being a snitch.
Parker turned into an Eddie Hearn lapdog, and this is what happened. Those fighters fight Eddie Hearn. It's like you sign your lifetime contract. Eddie owns your soul. Same thing happened to Povetkin. You know what I mean? Once Eddie gets you in his grasp for giving you the opportunity to fight one of his fighters, it's like he just keeps them. And I think Parker could have done a lot better if he was on Showtime or even with Top Rank.
Povetkin,
but I just think fighting on that app.
Hearn was a godsend to Povetkin, because give me a promotion who was legitimately going to pay premium bread to try to get Povetkin title shots. Mm-hmm. He's lucky he dealing with Hearn.
Yeah.
he's fucking lucky.
Well, he retired. Yeah, he retired. He got his retirement package from Hearn. He made more money with Eddie Hearn than he did his entire career.
Yeah, no real promoter was gonna pay for them just for half of Eddie Hearn's fucking stable. Ain't nobody paying legitimate bread for fucking Dillian White and Chisora and Povetkin and Price and Pulev and all these motherfuckers. Man, ain't nobody want to see this bullshit. He couldn't go nowhere else. He got lucky. You know damn well, no Al Heyman gonna pay to try to put Povetkin back in title contention. Fuck no. Dumbass would have been fighting in Russia for pennies like his ass was doing.
Yeah, well, I guess that's why Joseph Parker's sticking around on that app, because he just getting fights, but there's nothing. His brand has not expanded. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? He just is getting in fights, and you know what I mean. But no one's talking about him. This is, I don't know. The Zone is like the place where fighters go to die. And he secured his family for. He's made millions with Eddie, but it has done nothing for his boxing stock.
Yeah, that's why someone asked a question on Twitter. They were like, if you were a brand new fighter, fresh out of the amateurs, which promotion would you sign with? I fucking said Matchroom. I said Matchroom off the top. You get premium, expensive promotion in your first 3 fights, and you get to fight fucking bums for your first, 10 to 20 fights. You get premium bread for it. I mean, shit. The Zone is fucking Top Rank 2.0. I mean, look at Mark Castro. This motherfucker has like 5 fights, and he's getting more promotion than fucking than damn Terrence Crawford and Devin Haney. Like, come on, man. I would absolutely call him that.
He's overrated.
Well, I would say if I'm a new fighter and I just got signed, just coming out, I would say Top Rank is the best place because again, the Bob Mafia got all the inroads to get you an easy belt and also get you quick rankings in these propaganda pound for pound rankings. So what I would do is once I gain the respect of everybody, then I just wouldn't re-sign with them. I would because we know every top fighter, top rankers ever had, they leave because of the business. It's a shame that Terrence Crawford is only making $5 million. He's never made more than that in his entire career. You know what I mean? And only did that for 2 fights. You know, to me, that's a shame. You can't. You got a person who who won undisputed, and you don't even market that properly. You don't even have Terrence and doing things to uplift his profile, and you know what I mean. So my whole thing is, if I was that new fighter, give me my first contract with Top Rank. Maybe I'll leave after 10 fights, 12 fights, whatever. And then I'll go into greener pastures, and then I'll start cashing in because I've built a reputation.
Yeah.
Well, Bob also has to like you, because I know the moment you do something wrong, you step on a shoe, you fucking cough too loud, he's gonna match your ass tough and then get you beat up. So I ain't trying to do all that. Like I said, that's why I just go to Matchroom. It's the easiest work for the most money. You get better promotion in your first few fights than you do at Top Rank. Because at Top Rank, when they try to promote you, they try to, they make mistakes and step you up in your matchmaking. Like, look what happened with Gabriel Flores Jr. That motherfucker got manhandled by a goddamn cab driver from Mexico, and that crazy motherfucker's on a tear. He's over here beating. He just beat up Low his last fight, so it's like shit like that. Nah, I'm stay my ass over at Matchroom and just chill. I'ma just coast. And I damn sure wouldn't fight at PBC because the matchmaking is tough as fuck.
But that's why I said, you know what I mean? If I'm coming out, I already know the lay of the land. I know who's going to get me my rankings, who's going to get me my recognition, who's going to get me my title shot. To me, I would say the Top Rank with the zone is just still no. You saying it's publicity, but the average fans, don't really know a lot what's going on with the zone. You know what I mean? Especially your casual fans. You know what I mean? Because they don't see them on TV. You know what I mean? It's so hard. And the funny thing is, Devin Haney is the only person I said that was a great move for, because I knew that he wasn't going to get his shots early, and I felt like take the money, sign with Matchroom with a couple years, get your money, stack your cake up, and then come back, and then go to PBC with Al Haymon. You know what I mean? I still think that's where Devin Haney promotion is going to end up. Because again, I don't see there's just you said D-Hype, you said they get publicity, but I don't see the zone publicity. And with the Top Rank thing, like I said, I'll keep my mouth shut. I don't like a lot of things. I want to leave. I hate the guy, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut until I leave. Because again, my whole thing is I have a plan. My plan is to use Top Rank as much as they're trying to use me. You know what I mean? And so once it's time to renew that contract after I've done all the right thing, kiss the baby, shake the hands, and I got this beautiful pound for pound rankings. I got this beautiful WBO belt that I won in 11 fights. I just won't renew my contract. Because I know once I become superstar status and he got his propaganda order official anointed, I'm going to be sabotaged like he's doing Shakur right now. Shakur and Valdez should be fighting. And now he's talking about, I want Shakur to fight Tio. Then I want Shakur to fight Loma. He wants Shakur to fight everybody except who he should be fighting.
Yeah. Hey guys, I gotta get up going, but I appreciate you for having me on, Art, and
all right, fellas. Yeah, I'm gonna round out as well, and I'll catch up with you guys a little later.
All right, check. All right,
bet.
Yeah.
I'll stay up, man.
Have fun at the fight, Art, man.
Bet. I will.
I haven't even been checking at the chat. What do we think of Raymond Ford Jr.? I think Raymond Ford Jr. is.
Yeah. Somebody said, what about Venezuela?
Oh, El
he
Rayo?
cool. He fucking around beat Teofimo Lopez in the pros.
He knocked him out in sparring.
Yeah, I was like, he stopped him in the first round of sparring. He'll put hands on his ass. Teofimo, he's basically proven. I mean, he finished with Kambosos, but against a bigger puncher than Kambosos, he ain't got no heart, bro. He'll probably just stop in the corner, complain about his foot like Chavez, or say his hand, or lie about his hand like Chavez Jr. did with Jacobs or some shit. He just seemed weak of mind. But Raymond Ford Jr. is cool. I think that's the zone's little Shakur Stevenson project, but he's not as quick as Shakur Stevenson. He's not as strong. He's not as good on the inside. He has some defensive lapses, but he could be something over there. They could build him up into a powerful junior middleweight. I mean junior middleweight. Fucking junior lightweight. I apologize. But yeah, Arroyo's good. Do I think he's the best at 135? No. I think he shows a lot of power, some solid boxing ability, but as soon as he gets in there with someone that's faster than him, he's gonna struggle. Again,
who's a beast though?
Oh,
Frank Martin.
Yeah, Frank Martin, and I think that's a good fight. I think they should go ahead and make that. Should probably step him up some. And also, Trey Lawson. That's who Valenzuela should be fighting. Let Valenzuela fight Trey Lawson. Or is that his name, Trey Lawson, or is it something? But remember when Lawson knocked out Barrientos, and he fucking stopped him? Yeah, they need to let him go ahead and fight Lawson, since he's supposed to be good and everything. Because they let Melnicki get in there with James Martin, even though James Martin had no knockouts, and some shit went left. It didn't go right. It went left.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of Melnicki.
Yeah, he's making him look like some bullshit in there.
But shit, Melnicki, I don't rate him right now. He just, I don't know, man. Like I'll have to see about him.
God, this dumbass. I think Darian Holder and Vivi they're owned by the same fucking kid. And you know what? And speaking of kids, I don't mean to. I want to be respectful to Max, but that's the new face of boxing fan. That's you understand what I'm saying? Like that's the majority of boxing fans now.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
A lot of them are his age. They're his age.
I didn't even realize that because a lot of these dudes don't put up profiles.
No, on his YouTube channel, he says that he's a teenager that just got into boxing, and that's why. And again, that's why when I was talking about social media, he agreed with me because that and he's not as bad as a lot of casuals, but a lot of casuals are his profile. They're young, they're very young, and they didn't really start paying attention to boxing until after the Mayweather era was over. Because let's face it, they got tired of seeing Mayweather beat everybody. They got sick of it.
It shows what these people put on the timeline. Like they disrespect Andre Ward, they disrespect Floyd. Like these dudes aren't the best. Like these dudes didn't change the game up. They didn't run the game up. They didn't run the score up.
They disrespect
just research, D. Yeah, they disrespect EJ, they disrespect Wilder, they disrespect Tank, and it's you don't see the skills with them. With them, they have to do more. But with other guys, you see the quote unquote skills with them, and let's be real, some of those dudes aren't even as skilled as they try to make them out to be. Like these dudes are good fighters. They're not great like they try to make them to be right now. You can talk about that at the end of their careers, that their careers aren't over yet, and they're not taking the fights that people will want them to see. But they're not getting any shit for it. Like I was saying earlier, these dudes play protection squad for their favorite fighters. Like they don't want to see the best fights.
Yeah, and Max at least he tries to point out some double standards. He misses a few of them, but he tries. And because he wants to be like a public figure with a YouTube channel and wants to make his money, he wants to really be like a boxing social personality, which is cool. Which is cool. You're trying to build a fan base. I respect that. Okay, dope. But a lot of these people,
I was just reading the question. Yeah, that's the dude from Twitter. He who greets fire.
Yeah. A lot of these people, they're around his demographic, which is why he has such a huge following. Because like how millennials are the largest age demographic in the United States now. Casuals are now within that age range. Like the ones that are most active on the internet, that are skewing the narrative. That's that's what you're looking at. Most of them are kids.
Yeah.
Most of them are
Yep.
kids who didn't get into boxing until like the last 3-4 years max. That's why his following is so huge. And a lot of adults, older people follow him because they also follow people like Punch Drunk, Steve Kim, and Montero. So some of his talking points line up with their narratives. But
they follow a lot of racists, known racists. They align themselves with the racist ideologies and racist narratives,
Yeah.
But a lie can be a lie if a lie is propagated enough, it'll become the truth, So that's what that is. It's just a lot of these things are lies. They're not true once you get down to it, but the majority of these people are parading these things as facts. So
yeah, and a lot of it's not their fault. But then when you try to break shit down and willingly explain it to them, then it's just it gets complete. Even some of the people on Chicken Talk, like the Space Chicken Talk, a lot of motherfuckers that get speaking positions up there are fucking infiltrators. And I know that Lefty is trying to create a more cosmopolitan space where everyone's welcome, and that's great, that's fine. But a lot of them are just infiltrators. Like a lot of these dudes that have black avatars, like they'll have a photo of Rigondeaux or a photo of Shakur Stevenson or some black fighter. These are just British or white dudes that believe the same things as Chris Montero.
And,
so
I was talking to one of my guys, one of the family, Tut, about that too. We were talking about that. A lot of these dudes, they sit up here, be on Chicken Talk, and we talked to Lefty about it too. They'll sit up here on Chicken Talk, and then at the, these dudes are in other chats with racists, saying racist shit and putting racist narratives up. So these dudes, like you said, they're agents.
Yeah,
and it's sickening, bro. I get tired of it. You can have your opinions and everything, but when you try to play these games, when you try to tell me who I can or can't support, and you try to shit on me for supporting my own, then that's when I have a problem. You ain't gonna tell me what the fuck I'm gonna do. You can't sit up here and tell me, oh, this and this and that. Nigga, you ain't my dad. You ain't nobody to me. I stand on mine and I'm gonna support mine. If you got a problem with it, go suck a dick. I don't care.
Yeah, man, like Vivi, fucking Darian Holder, like Jay, bro, those dudes are fucking two-faced, and they use Chicken Talk and Lefty to appear unbiased because Lefty lets them talk, but it's like we know what it is about, bro. Like we know what it's about. Like you talk all this shit, and I mean Lefty probably sees it. He probably don't really care that damn much, and that's perfectly fine. But it's like we see you guys. You guys will sit there, say one good thing about it. Like for example, whenever I see Vivi talking positive about Wilder, I'm like, dude, I only discovered you because you were in Artman's chat saying some of the most racist shit possible. Like Vivi and L Dog, they could almost be run from the same fucking account. By the way, Vivi used to talk. But now, because he's associated with Lefty and he's got like some mild popularity, all of a sudden he wants to appear unbiased. It's like, no, dude, we remember how you got your start. You were sucking Tyson Fury's dick every single day, making sure he's drained. And now all of a sudden you want to give Wilder his respect because you've gotten some popularity off fucking Lefty by being able to talk on Chicken Talk. And the thing is, like, I can't even listen to Chicken Talk sometimes because of his voice. He sounds like every fucking like anime like anime weirdo. Like not that people who like anime are weird. Yeah, like if I had to compare it to something, I would say that if you go back and watch the Columbine tapes of the kids who shot up Columbine, if you go watch their old VHS tapes, he sounds just like both of them. And I'm just like, I can't fucking listen to you talk, bro, because you talk all this shit, but I know in real life, bro, like you would call the police on somebody like me. Like if we like he would, because he was one of those people talking about he would send me to hell in like a boxing match or something, and I'm like, dude, I listened to your fucking voice. I don't even care how tall you are. You're not that fucking guy, bro. You're some person who reads a lot about boxing and repeats consensus bullshit. But the truth of the matter is, you couldn't bust a fucking grape. You've never thrown a punch in anger or in self-defense. You're just some guy who talks a lot, and you join the first space that gave you any positive feedback. You probably tried to talk about basketball. you look like a bitch. You probably tried to talk about football, you look like a bitch. You probably tried to talk about anime, you look like a bitch. You probably tried to talk about NASCAR or some shit, and you look like a bitch. But you started repeating after Max Kellerman in boxing, and you got some respect. So you just stayed in this space. You probably tried to talk about politics, and you look like a bitch. So you're like, oh shit, if I just repeat whatever Kevin Iole and Max Kellerman says, oh, I can get some respect over here. I can get some followers.
It's just the thing of with it with me is like these dudes are always in these spaces, in our spaces, man. I don't sit up here and go to no space that I don't want to be in. They come here every day talking this other irrelevant shit. Go somewhere where you want it. You know, go somewhere where they like y'all can do whatever and say whatever. It's like I'm not gonna sit up here and go to nobody else's channel that I don't associate with because of their character. These dudes come to Arch channel every day spewing that racist shit. Like, don't you got something better to do with your life, man?
Yeah, like I could go on fucking IQ's live stream. I don't follow IQ because I don't like him. I don't follow Punch Drunk because I don't like him. I don't like these people. And like I always say, y'all don't like each other because y'all don't keep each other entertained enough to stay over there. Y'all got to come over here and see what we talking about. I don't be looking up what Ring says. I don't be looking up what Punch Drunk says. I don't be looking up what Iole and Kellerman say. Like I don't look at what they say because they're irrelevant to me. They don't say anything real. They say whatever gets casual, soaking wet. That's it. That's it. Fucking and y'all want to talk all this bullshit about media sources, bro. Cappinger capped so hard about Spence and Crawford, Twitter suspended his fucking account for bullshitting. Even Twitter suspended his account over a boxing post. Do you know how hard you have to bullshit for Twitter to suspend you over boxing? Yeah. Like he capped so hard, they were thinking that this nigga said like Hitler was alive or some shit. They were like, okay, this is just blatant disinformation. They fucking suspended his account over Spence and Crawford. He capped so hard.
And them dudes, man, I can't with them, man. Like, they just have a job just to have a job. All them dudes, media dudes, they don't garner respect. You don't respect them because of their integrity, because they have none. They just have a job because they're white and they hate on black fighters.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, no. Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't go. Like I say, I wouldn't go to a fucking Mike Coppinger post for integrity. I'll go to Champ Size page. I'll go to Blue Bloods page, man. If I want to chop it up, you know, I'll go to Artman's page. I'll go to spaces where my brothers are over here talking boxing, and we keep it cordial with one another. We treat each other like family. We show love and support. We're not hating on nobody. We just speaking facts. Y'all are the ones that come over here with that racist shit. Like I continue to say, you know, when Champ Size had his pound for pound list up, all you saw was dudes calling people monkeys and all this other stuff because he didn't have Canelo #1. I'm not gonna go over to nobody's channel because they have Canelo #1 and call him a beaner or something. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. Why do you have so much stock in another man's opinion? Unless you're spreading different information, and that's just an opinion, you know. But go ahead, D.
I was just gonna say it's funny because they never attacked people that put Usyk #1. A bunch of white people said Usyk was the new pound for pound #1. They didn't attack white people.
You know what that is, bro. You know what that is.
They didn't attack white people at all. People were like, "Oh shit, Usyk better than Canelo." They were quiet as fuck. They were like, well, "You know, that's an argument that could be had." Like, I was just like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wait, what?" What the fuck? I was just like, "All right, bro." So y'all gonna get real quiet on them, but we talk about Terrence Crawford, somebody who's already done something Canelo's getting his dick sucked for doing, but we crazy. All right.
Facts.
That's honestly why, like, these Twitter accounts, when they were talking about like a real life, like when they were talking about either having debates or actual like boxing matches, I'm all with it. I tell them straight up, I'm like, y'all can come to the Delaware Dog Pound. I'm driving distance from New York. I'll drive to fucking Minnesota. I'm like, we need to get into a fucking boxing gym and let's just have it out there and see who actually knows the sport. let's do that. I mean, of course, weight classes. We got to have some decent weight classes. We want people. I mean, I don't really care about weight classes because right now I'm over 200, so I personally don't care. But to make it fair, we should probably have some weight classes and just like pick a date. Like we'll do like a Christmas or a Thanksgiving gathering or some shit. Like how niggas be playing football or something on Thanksgiving Day. We should just fucking pick a date. We'll all have 10-ounce gloves, no headgear, and let's just get it in, bro. Like because I'm like some of y'all fucking irritating. But it's funny because all the bitch ass ones, they all make sure they live in safe places like New York where there's like no open carry and there's lots of cops. I'm like, right, you don't want to travel to New York. It's like Punch Drunk, his punk ass live in New York. Ring, I'm pretty confident lives in fucking New York. So it's like, yeah, y'all want to stay over there with lots of security cameras. There are no desolate areas. So, I'll talk to my lawyer, ass niggas.
But they talking tough on the internet.
Right. Talk all this shit. Like motherfuckers say, I have a wife and a family. I'm like, is that why every time I wake up in the morning, I see tweets from you from like 1 a.m. on my fucking page? Yeah, he agrees. I'm in Delaware right now. But yeah, no, like I'm like, dude, let's get that shit in, bro. Let's get it. New York has a big ass boxing scene, plenty of gyms. And then motherfuckers, like motherfucker, when I was in LA, he said, fly out to the East Coast. I said, hey, I'm driving distance from New York. He said, meet me at the Canelo fight in Vegas. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. What the fuck we gonna do with the Canelo fight? Like, just, like, they just say all kinds of wild shit, bro.
Facts.
Yeah,
but
and I think.
For this. Oh, go ahead, D.
Yo, did y'all hear about Jake Paul saying that he's suffering from memory loss and shit, like having early stages of CTE?
That's cap. He haven't even been hit that damn much.
But he says because he's been playing football and shit since he was a kid. He had a lot of concussions early on as a kid playing football and shit.
Is it actually from football? Or is it from doing dumb shit like jumping off roofs for YouTube and shit?
Ain't no telling.
Right. It's trying to make him seem like
But you just add those accumulation of blows to what he's doing now too. I believe him, man. This is not his first time saying this. And I feel like people are not taking him serious because he's a YouTube person.
Yeah, people probably don't care, but I mean, this is what he signed up for, and it's not like he's getting paid contender money. He's making a grip with these boxing matches.
Yeah, he just bought that nigga Tyrone Woodley a Rolex just to be his opponent. What?
Yeah, he's being compensated more than most people in their first 5 fights. So that's why people don't have that much sympathy for him, because it's like most people, when they have 5 pro fights, they're making like 2,000, 3,000, if that. This man's banking like 20 fucking million on the first 5 fights and shit.
0.
Yeah, so he's making a grip. He's making a fucking grip.
Man, even AB wasn't making that type of money. I don't know. You think so?
No, in first 5 fights, hell no. AB didn't get like popping until like fight number 20. Oh, that's what's up, Hugh Grease. Used to live in Dover. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's most of them. They're just regular ass people that are spectators. Like, and then some of them really get on my nerves because they'll pick a specific pocket of boxing that they watch carefully and think that they're fucking experts. I'm like, dude, do you think that because you can cite the play-by-play of Inoue's career, you're a boxing expert? Do you think that because you really watch every fucking fight of flyweight boxing, you're an expert? Like no one cares about those fucking fighters at the bottom. I'm sorry. Like, I watch their fights every now and again, but the truth is, like, a lot of those little tiny sperm weight classes, like, who fucking cares, bro? Who cares? I just get tired of fucking hearing and seeing these people sometimes. They're like, oh, you're gonna say Inoue shouldn't be as high, based off what? Like, especially if Lomachenko and Estrada are still on the fucking list. Between 2 of them, they got 1 belt. Both of those motherfuckers on the list. Oh, because of past accomplishments. Oh, shit, because of past accomplishments. By that logic, based on past accomplishments, should we put Julian Williams on the fucking list? Former unified champ at 154? Talking about past accomplishments. Shit, should Sean Porter have been on the list? Past accomplishments?
What was y'all talking about? It dropped me off.
Oh, it was talking about apparently Jake Paul is talking about how he has concussions from football and he's already suffering CTE.
Good.
Damn. Man said good.
I didn't have a problem with Jake Paul till he disrespected the GOAT. You know, like he can do that. That's fine. Like a lot of people will say that takes away from boxing. Like once you fix the sport inside the sport, then everything else will fall into place. You know, there's a lot of reasons why boxing isn't as popular as it used to be, and I can name about 10. You know.
Yeah, no, it's like I put on Twitter, Jake Paul is a result of boxing politics and fighters not taking boxing serious. He's like, shit, if people like fucking Canelo Alvarez opponents can make a bunch of money and just fight Canelo and get rich, why the fuck can't I? People making hundreds of millions of dollars in boxing for doing nothing, getting all this fame, why can't I? Because before the Canelo era of boxing, something like this would have seemed pretty improbable. But now, because Canelo's just fucking around, Jake Paul's of the world are like, look at what he's doing, who he's fighting. Why can't I do the same shit? And they've been proven right.
Facts.
So, yeah, so it's not our fault. No YouTubers were boxing, you know, or at least they weren't making lots of money boxing when Mayweather was on top. I mean, now you can argue that YouTube wasn't as popular, but Mayweather retired, 2017? YouTube was a big platform. They could have put some shit like this together. And they've had celebrity matches matches before, but they just weren't as big. But now in the Canelo era, because we're not getting the fights we want anyway, people are like, fuck it, we might as well watch Jake Paul, and we might as well watch Logan Paul. And that's what you get. This is what y'all deserve. Y'all don't want good fights because you're afraid that black people might win. So this is what y'all get. You get to watch fucking Jake Paul. You get to watch Jake Paul versus fucking Tyron Woodley or Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson and make a bunch of fucking memes. Like, oh, Nate Robinson got killed. Oh. But these same people were fucking quiet as fuck when Teofimo got wasted. I didn't see enough memes about Teofimo and how horrific that was. I still got a motherfucker on Twitter telling me I don't know boxing because I picked Brown, but this motherfucker picked Teofimo. Like, it just the fucking logic.
If Jake Paul got all of that,
the thing is, they can't explain why they picked these dudes. I can explain why I was picking Brown. I can explain.
I just find it
whoever
odd
I
that
pick,
he's
I
saying
can
that.
explain
Is
to
he
you
pleading
why.
for
They
help,
can
or
only
is he
explain
like,
to
I don't
because,
get it?
oh, these dudes are names, you know, because these dudes are who's being propped up. You know, so they can't explain to you why you don't know boxing. Like I always say, they can only say,
Shit.
"Oh, you don't know boxing."
You think Jake Paul main supporters is black people? I wouldn't say that.
Hell no.
I would not say that at all.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if she's alluded to that. I don't know. I feel like Jake Paul's he got a multi-race fan base, if you ask me.
I think it's just pure spectacle because people know that like nothing's really cracking in boxing right now as far as mega fights. So they're just like, fuck it, might as well go ahead and watch this shit.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, Miss Jackson, I'm just not hearing your actual. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, I don't think Jake Paul's main support comes from black people because I know black people weren't making a bunch of memes about Nate Robinson acting like Jake Paul is some real fucking killer. I'm like, dude, he beat up Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is one of the shortest players in the fucking NBA history. Nick was like a damn near modern day Spud Webb. So it's like, okay, great. Neither one of them were boxers. He was just coming in, so they were both swinging wild. Jake Paul got the better of it because he had more boxing experience.
He was actually training with actual trainers, you know?
Yeah, Nate Robinson trained 3 months for that fight just for the paycheck?
And Tyron Woodley almost had him out on his ass. So
yeah, And Tyron Woodley 40. Niggas think Tyron Woodley is still in the MMA days. Tyler Woodley's 40. So it's like, you got to put shit in context, people. Man, this Tyron Woodley ain't some young ass nigga. Nah, this man 40. He's 40 fucking years old trying to get some bread because his UFC career kind of went south as he got older. Started getting folded a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the moment big mega fights start happening in boxing again, Jake Paul will lose relevance. But as long as you're okay with Canelo fighting whoever, Valdez not fighting Shakur Stevenson, Triple G not fighting Charlo or Andre not fighting Canelo, Munguia not fighting Charlo, and everybody, some people, Virgil Ortiz not fighting Boots, Virgil Ortiz not fighting fucking Spence Crawford. Like, as long as you're cool with all that bullshit, Jake Paul will continue to make lots of money. And I hope you enjoy it, because that's what you deserve. If you're one of those boxing fans like, oh, no, I don't want to see good fights because my people might lose. Yeah, I'm watching Parker Chisora, Richie Rich. I'm watching this shit, to be honest. I'm getting ready to go to the store and go do some shopping, but I'm watching it for now. I got it on. Because, like I said, I just want to see Parker lose because Parker's trash. But, it is Parker's fight to win because everybody in the heavyweight division is a more skilled boxer than fucking Chisora. But Chisora can't punch. I'll give him that. He can't punch. Especially because he fucking dropped Parker and Parker couldn't drop him. So I'm just like, Chisora, you jabbing, you working your uppercuts and you winging them hooks at the right time, you can do some damage.
I'm just waiting for this Morrell fight.
Yeah, that's gonna be, like I said, if it goes how I think it's gonna go, hopefully the paycheck is good for Alantes, because that's gonna be rough to deal with fucking Morrell. But Alantes has a very long jab. Very long jab. He moves around the ring well. So, Morrell's cardio is definitely gonna get tested. And see if you can actually chop the ring off and do some damage.
Yep.
And people are talking shit about David Benavidez versus David Lemieux, and I'm like, who have either of them beat? Why is this such a horrendous fight? They both need this fight. Like they both need this fucking fight. Lemieux has fought Triple G, and he got beat up, and he fought some other people. But David Benavidez has done nothing at 168 but lose his belt twice. They both need this.
Yep. And this will be make it or break it for David Lemieux. And both will be, like you said, both guys. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a bad fight. Like, it'll be a good scrap, It's not the worst fight in the world. But
yeah, but I'm like,
say it's a bad fight. D, they're gonna say it's a bad fight, so that means David Lemieux ain't shit. But that's the guy who deserved it more than Charlo. But
yeah, I mean, again, these are the people that are whining about certain good fights being made. So it's like, either you want good fights or you don't want good fights. If you're one of those people that pick and choose based on the probability of the fighter you want to win winning, then you're not a real boxing fan and you deserve these garbage ass fights. If you think it's a trash fight, but then again, they'll say, oh, Canelo's the greatest because he's fighting people with belts. But Charlo needs to come up and wait, relinquish his belt, and fight a contender for no belt. Make it make fucking sense. They're like, oh, because you called them out. Canelo called people out. Triple G called people out. Crawford called people out. Ryan Garcia called people out. People call out people all the time. Didn't fight him. But Charlo's the only one that gets disrespected for it. All right. And Benavidez, people forget, Benavidez said he'd come down to 160 to challenge him at middleweight. Never did it.
yeah.
Yeah, and his fat ass doesn't want to go up to 175 because truth is the power ain't what it seems. And he'll get beat up. because his chin has already been tested. He got knocked down by fucking Gavril, and then Mighty Max tried to come on and say, "Well, that was a long time ago." Okay, so Gavril wasn't a hard puncher then. He's not a hard puncher today. There are people that hit hard today. Beterbiev got dropped by Callum Johnson a long time ago. Saying that can't happen again. Shit, Canelo lost a long time ago. Saying it couldn't happen again. When Manny Pacquiao got knocked unconscious by Juan Manuel Marquez, his last knockout was like when he was knocked unconscious was a long ass time ago. It was like when his career first started. Guess what? Happened again. So, you know, context people like, oh, because some shit happened once, that's not gonna happen again. Okay. Again, these are the same people that had Teofimo winning. Same people that were like, oh, Teofimo's gonna wash him. Okay. All right, later, Miss Jackson. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I gotta make a story on myself. So I definitely appreciate y'all for having me on, but I'll catch up with y'all later.
All right, D. Catch you later, bro. You finna end the stream, Mark?
Hey, yo, I gotta head out of here because I'm about to go to the Morrell fight.
All right, Art. Peace.
Shit, yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys posted. Make sure to check out the channel for footage and shit. I'm gonna record it and all that shit.
All right, family.
All right, bet.